on in. If you are shopping for a car now or in the next 12 months, I want you to type me in the comments. All right, so we know who we're talking to. And Instagram. All right, Instagram. I see Instagram log this out again because I switched from the screen. We're just getting used to this. But as you come in, if you are shopping for a car now or in the next 12 months, just type me. And I want to know, because I want to talk specifically to y'all. If you're shopping for a car, after that, that's fine. But I want to talk specifically to the people who are shopping now. Now, after you let us know if you're shopping, I want you to check in. Where we at? Where are we at today? Let me know where you are in the country. I like to do a roll call, check in. Where are we at in the country? Good to see you, Calvin. Good to see you, Catrella. Good to see you, Charlicia. Steeler Nation, St. Louis in the building. I see you. Okay. Hold on. Let me go here. TikTok. All right. Where y'all at? Let's. Okay. I see Dallas, Texas. I see Tampa. Hold on. I'm trying to see Chicago, Illinois, VA Beach, Utica. I see you. Check in. Where we at today? Where we at this afternoon, evening, morning? Come on in. All right. We got the whole country on here. And we got the whole country on here. All right. I want to welcome y'all to Car Q&A with me, Deshone the Auto Advisor. As you come in, if you could spend a minute or two with us, 5-10 minutes, an hour, you're going to get a lot of value out of it. We're getting ready to do some rapid fire Q&A. And we're going to be answering all types of questions about car shopping and what you need to know to make sure you're saving thousands on your next car and every car you get after that. So as you come in, if you're not subscribed, if you're not following, you will benefit from hitting that follow button. You will benefit from hitting the subscribe button, because we're going to be doing this live show pretty regularly to make sure that you guys have access to all the information. So before we get into Q&A, I want to give people time to come in. I also want to finish up the housekeeping. My new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, is now officially released. We are doing a 75% off sale. It's normally $97. It's a digital book. It has links to videos. It has links to my scripts. There's no guesswork in this, y'all. I want to give y'all a process that y'all can use for the rest of your life without having to worry about, I want y'all to be able to guarantee your success. So if you're on Instagram, you can go to the Instagram bio. You won't leave the broadcast. Get your 75% off, because it's only available for a few minutes at 75% off. TikTok bio, and then Facebook and Instagram. Y'all can go to deshonsbook.com, or you can scan the QR code. So let's go. Let's get your questions going. I want y'all to enjoy using that book. Get your 75% off and enjoy not reading it, enjoy using it. All right. So let me see. Let's start bringing in some comments. Where's our first question? Do I have to get financing? Oh, by the way, in a few minutes, y'all, I'm going to be giving y'all a very, very deep look into a game that's going to help you understand leasing versus buying. So in about 5-10 minutes, we'll start that game, and you're going to love it. You'll never be confused on whether leasing or purchasing is going to save you more money after we play this. Do I have to get financing to lease a car? No, you don't. Whenever we lease a car, we are always using the dealer's financing department, their company, the bank that makes the car. And because we can't shop for our own financing, how do we make sure that they're not marking up the interest rate on the lease? Multiple offers. There's no way for you to make sure they're not marking up the interest rate on the lease without multiple offers. That is what reveals the true deals when you're shopping for a lease. So there's no interest rate to shop for, but we must protect against interest rate markups with multiple offers, because some dealers will mark up the interest rate and never tell you. They'll just give you the quote, and they're depending on you not shopping their competition to find out that they marked up the interest rate on the lease. All right. So when you get your offers, it's always with multiple offers. Shout out to the sharers. Shout out to everybody who's sharing the broadcast. If this is your first time on a live with me here, just type 1. Type the number 1 if this is your first time on a live. I'm near the end of a 3-year lease. Is it best to buy the vehicle or lease another? It's very rarely best to buy. Very rarely. Shout out to the first time viewers. Good to see y'all. Very rarely, if ever, good to buy your lease. I'm going to tell y'all why. Because when you buy your lease, you're buying a used car. When you buy your lease, you are buying a used car. That's all that's happening. So, being that you are buying a used car, you need to know if would I normally buy a used car versus leasing. And the only way it makes sense to buy your lease out is if you're keeping the car another 8 years. I'm going to tell you why. You've already had the car for 3 years. You've already had the car for 3 years. Most people, when you buy your lease out, you're getting another 5 or 6 year loan for the balance. So you're committing to 8 or 9 years of payments on the same car. This spills into bad lease deals. The reason we don't take 48 months leases on a lease, because we're paying too long on a vehicle that we're giving back. We never want to be tied up long term in a vehicle we're giving back. That's the whole point. Leasing is meant to be 3 years, 39 months, sometimes 2 years, depending on what they're offering, in and out, switching cars very fast, always under warranty, keeping our payments low. Okay. Can y'all light up TikTok with the likes? Can y'all continue to tap the screen on TikTok? I see we got a few hundred people. We got about 400 people on total, all the broadcast. Could you actually hit that share button? Because I promise you, y'all, no one will ever get mad at you for sharing my page with them. I guarantee you that. In fact, my goal is to get them to thank you. Hey, thank you for sharing that. I like that guy's stuff. We try not to waste any time here. What about paying cash? VJ Live said, let me put this question up on the screen. If you're on, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube so y'all can see the whole thing, the presentation, when we share these numbers. We can't do that on Instagram and TikTok. So VJ Live said, what about paying cash? I have about 15,000 and I don't want payments, but they keep trying to push me to 25 grand range so I can have payments. Here's the thing. If you can find a quality car for 15 grand, great. If it's going to force you to buy something that's not, who's heard you always pay cash for a car? If, as you come in, thank you, Godhead. Shout out to the sharers. I see y'all. Who's heard always pay cash for a car? Type me in the comments. If you've heard always pay cash for a car, type me in the comments. I see y'all lighting up. Keep tapping the screen on TikTok. We appreciate it. Y'all lighting up the likes. Y'all can see where we at on the likes in the top left. Who's heard always pay cash? Right? 5150 times heard it. VJ Live said, heard it all my life. Now listen, bunch of Dave Ramsey advice. Now here's the real. Here's what I'm just telling y'all. We got a bunch of people on here, hundreds of you all say, yes, I've heard you pay cash for cars. Now there's two schools of thought here. One is no debt. Now if your philosophy is no debt, I'm not here to convince you to change your philosophy. Here's what I'm here to talk to you about. If your philosophy is I want to do what makes the most financial sense, then we'll have that conversation. Because people who could pay cash for cars and don't, they typically are making money on their money. When I was in the dealership, people would come in, they would ask, what are the interest rates this month? If the interest rates were 0%, something special like 0%, 1%, 2%, 3%, if they knew that they were getting 10, 15, 20% returns on their money, they're not going to put it in a car. They're going to use the bank's money at 1, 2, 3%, and they're going to use their money to keep making 10, 12, 15, 20%. That's the philosophy. So they view that as, I'll pay 3%. They view it more as a business transaction than as a leveraging money to make more money. See, some people will tell y'all people who don't pay cash for cars, they're into debt. But I'm here to tell you that when I sat with very, very savvy people in my career with Mercedes and General Motors, I had tons of people who could easily have wrote a check for the car. I want you to know that if your goals are to eventually get into making more money with your money, investing your money, getting 10%, 12%, 8%, trying to beat inflation, then you're going to have a problem putting your cash into cars. Because not only, if let's say we park right now, this is just as answering VJ Live's question, because I got it up on the screen here on YouTube and Facebook. He's asking about paying cars. And many of you, as you sit on the show, you'll see, Dad, that's a similar question. Many of you will see someone's going to ask the same question you have. When we start seeing that we can actually use the bank's money for less, we're gonna realize that when you put $20,000 of your hard-earned cash into a car, that money cannot make you more money. That $20,000 that you just put in the car cannot make you more money. You have maxed out the value of that $20,000. It's in a car, you can't pull it out. You could refinance, but that's not happening. You're going to refinance and just get another loan. The point is, your money's in that car now. So had you had an opportunity to invest that 20 and make 8%, 10%, 6%, 12%, that's what the people who don't pay cash for cars, who are wise, are doing. I'm not telling you there's a difference. Look, I talk a lot about budgeting. I talk a lot about affordability. All through my book, I have systems and boundaries. The rule of 72 and the 10th birthday, how long of a loan you take, how much, when should the car be paid off? That's all in my book. You can get it 75% off, or you can watch my videos. I'm going to always teach it. But if you want it all in one place right here, get the book, 75% off. It's in my TikTok or Instagram bio. But that's what we got to know. We got to know if we're going to use leverage and use the bank's money, there are extremes of leverage. There is over leverage. And we cannot be over leveraged. That means we're taking a loan that's too much, too long, we just want to borrow to try to afford a car. And you see this a lot with older cars, people buying luxury cars that they really can't afford because, brand new, the car is 80 grand. But if they get a 10-year-old one and they get a 5-year loan, now they're in a 2013 AMG Mercedes with 90,000 miles on it. So that's the opposite extreme. Using leverage and loans to buy things we can't afford. But then the other opposite extreme is paying cash when we don't have to. Finding that balance between getting the car we want, getting the best car we can afford. Because you said, hey, I'm trying to find a car for 15 grand. I can't find it. They want me to spend 20, 25. Well, the name of the game is you better learn how to find if there's any cars out there for 15, you better learn how to find them. And you look everywhere, you look over all the marketplaces, and before you raise your budget up to 2025, we have something we do called the perfect budget. You got to go to 17 first. You don't go from 15 to 2025. You go from 15 to 17. See if I can find anything good for 17. Oh, I can't. All right, now I go to 19. And I have this calculator that's going to help you guys inside the book. It's called the Perfect Budget Calculator. You put in the money you have, you put in what you want your payment to be. It's going to tell you how much car you can buy. You put in your state, so we could have. How many times y'all walk in, right? And you're like, man, I want to spend 25 grand on a car, but you forgot to factor in taxes and the fees. How many times does that happen? Type ouch if you've ever dealt with that. Let's be willing to be honest. You had a budget in your mind. This is what I want my monthly payment to be. This is what I want to spend on the car. Next thing you know, you're a little over that budget, or sometimes a lot over that budget, and you're leaving like, all right, I see you, 919 Mike. Thank you. I see you, Mika Larkin. Shout out to everybody willing to be honest. See, in order for us to really make sure we don't make these mistakes, we got to be honest of the fact we've made them. So that's what we want to do. We want a budgeting system that tells us when we can. You spend any more than this, and you're going to be over your budget. You said you want a payment of $400 a month. That means you said you only got $1,000 to put down, or nothing to put down. Here's what you can spend on a car. And when you use this perfect budget calculator, you're going to never go over budget. Because honestly, y'all, we don't want to be anywhere near our top of our budget. We want to be shopping under our budget. That's where I want y'all. Under your budget. That's why I said if your budget was 15 and then your max might be 20, 25 with a loan, all right, we got to go from 15 to 17, to 17.5 to 18. We don't just jump to 20, 25. But we need a methodical system to do that, to help us do that. How do I get out of an upside down lease? Jose, you can only sell out of it. That's all you could do. You could sell out of it. If you, no matter what, y'all, who's in a car that they want to replace and they think they're upside down? They may have some negative equity. This is all in the book. I would really like y'all, the reason why I'm doing the 75% off, couple reasons. The book just officially came out, but I really want y'all not having to remember this. Yes, this live rebroadcast is going to be syndicated. So no matter when you're watching it, the information is going to be valuable and applicable. But I really want y'all to have the book so that you can actually reference the information over and over again. Thank you, B-Bad. Thank you for this info. Thank you, SJF Racing. So, all right. Yes, 25 goes to 30 real fast. Let me show y'all something, and then we'll continue. This is where we are right now on Goodreads.com. We're rated 4.94. We've already received 27 reviews, 31 ratings, and the book hasn't been out yet. So if you go to Goodreads.com, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, you can see what I'm posting. But I'm sharing the fact we're already rated 4.94, 31 ratings, and the book hasn't come out yet. So now that it's officially out, I really want y'all to have it. And so make sure you take advantage. Get your 75% off. It's normally $97, but while you're watching here, it's 75% off. Everything I teach is in there in one place, so you don't have to remember it. All right. If you have let's talk to the people who are in an upside down lease or upside down loan. First of all, we don't want to be there. I'm gonna tell y'all why. If you're in an upside down lease, that means you didn't pick your mileage correctly. That means something happened, because with a lease, you have to have predictable miles. You have to know how much you're going to drive roundabout. You got to be able to guesstimate. That's why if you're running a Turo business, when you're trying to rent the car out for, 40,000 miles a year, or you don't know how much it's going to be on that car. Could be 20, could be 40. A lease is not good because you can't predict the mileage. But in normal life, we can predict our mileage very closely. Now, when things happen, let's say you were working at home, and now all of a sudden you are, you're not working from home anymore. Now you got to drive into the office to 20 miles away. Well, that's a lifestyle change. That can lead to you racking up mileage penalties. But here's what we don't want to do. You don't want to buy that car, y'all. I'm going to tell you why. Every time you lease, you have a price that you can buy the car for. Most times it ain't worth that. Yes, in the last couple of years, we saw a couple cases where, the buyout prices were good. Before the pandemic, the buyout prices usually were nowhere near what you could get a comparable used car for. So if your car was 3 years old with 36,000 miles on it, the prices they were putting was to make you not buy the car, was to make you send it back to them so that they can handle it and resell it. So if the price wasn't worth it to begin with 36,000 miles, I've seen people, you go over your miles and you're like, I'm over the miles, I'm just going to buy it. The price wasn't worth it with good mileage. The price wasn't worth, if you had 36,000 miles, that car wasn't worth you buying for the buyout price. You actually have 48,000 miles and they want you to pay the same price for it. So it's important that if we have to deal with penalties because we didn't structure the lease correctly, or because we didn't quite know what we were going to be driving, or we had a lifestyle change, taking the penalty and applying it over to our next deal is always, not always, but in most cases, going to be less money than us buying an overpriced car with high mileage now. We cannot just keep buying our leases without doing a market check. So when you asked about how do I get out of a lease with negative equity, all you can do is find out what the penalty is. There's 3 ways that you could get out of this thing. You could either pay the difference. So if you got, you could wait until your mileage, and this is, all right. If you have negative equity on a lease, I don't even like to call it negative equity because there's no such thing as negative equity on a lease. There's penalties. That's different. Penalties on a car you purchase. Yes, there's negative equity. You bought it, you have a loan on it, the value is not worth the loan, negative equity. With a lease, we have penalties, over mileage penalties. And now some people say, well, I'm gonna go over mileage, I'm gonna get out of the lease 3 months early. But you don't realize if you get out of the lease early, what do you still have remaining? Payments. Three months of payments, 6 months. Who's ever had a dealer say, hey, don't worry about the payments, we'll take care of the old payments? Who's ever heard that? Type me if you've ever had a dealer say to you, don't worry about the old payments, we'll take care of the old payments. Okay, lots of you. The problem with that is the payments don't disappear. They always get rolled over to the next lease. They always get rolled over to your next deal. So what I want y'all to start doing is I want y'all to see that the money is not hitting. When you have negative equity, 5,000, you got this baggage from your old car, it does not go away. It gets either transferred or you can pay off the difference. So the key is to stay out of negative equity, to stay out of penalties, because yes, once you have them, they have to be accounted for. We got to find our great deal, and then we got to bring our penalties over on top of the great deal. That's all we can do. Now, you better try to see what your car is worth selling it, because you said you're over miles. You call your leasing company, you get your payoff, you find out what your cash offers are. Go to Vroom. Vroom's out of business. Sorry, CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, AutoNation, and Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. You can go to Car Guru, Sell My Car Too. These are all people that give you cash for your car. That's what your car is really worth, what those companies will pay. Whoever's the highest bidder, we take that. See, what I'm teaching y'all, and some of you are going to get it immediately right here, right now. Some of you, it's going to take a while to get the fact that your money comes when your savings come when you start learning to make people bid instead of getting one offer. You get the most money when you start learning to make people bid. And so what you have to do is get multiple offers, find out what your car is worth. When you go on those websites, when they ask you, is it a lease, say no, because their websites are set up to where if you put it's a lease, it's going to automatically trigger that they can't buy it. But they can buy it. We've been doing this, y'all. I got hundreds and hundreds of members in Cars from Home University. We shop all around the country. You must put no when you're getting offers for a lease, because their computer is set up to automatically think that it's a third-party restriction and they can't buy it. But when you call your bank, you're going to ask them, do I have a third-party restriction? If they say no, then that means you can sell to anybody. But again, the way these companies are set up, they saw us making all this money on these cars, and the bank said, no, we got to do these third-party restrictions. And there was so many people going to those websites saying, oh, I'm about to sell my lease. And then they would get there, or they would talk to them and they would say, no, we can't buy it because it's a third-party restriction. So they just made their website default to, we don't buy leases, but we do know if you don't have a third-party restriction, they can buy your lease. And it's very important for you to know that. And if you do have a third-party restriction, it doesn't limit the fact you can sell and make money. It limits who you can sell to. When you have a third-party restriction, they say what they're saying is you can only sell your car to a dealer that makes the same brand. You cannot sell to a third party, Carvana, Driveway. You can't sell to them directly. You can only sell to a dealer. So what does that mean? I see y'all lighting up the likes on TikTok. Can y'all keep tapping the screen? Let's keep those likes going up. I see it. I appreciate it. And thank you to everybody sharing. So when you are, I just got off my point, but I know it was about selling. So multiple offers, y'all. This is all in the book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. Who has their copy? Who got their copy? We'll continue. We got some more time. We're gonna keep doing Q&A, but who got their copy of the book already? Who got their 75% off? I really want y'all using this. The book is affordable for everybody. Everybody. All right, especially at 75. Now it should show, make sure it's not showing the $97 price. That's the normal price. I see you, 5150. Okay. All right, I see you, Jimbo. Okay. Okay, I see you, Diane. I appreciate you. Okay, and I want y'all to use it. Don't read it, use it. That is like literally it's an action guide. That ain't a book you read and then you have a bunch of things you got to remember. I'm walking you through the process step by step. And again, everything I teach is in my videos. So I don't hold back in my videos, but I do want y'all to have access to all the information in one place. If if you don't want to cycle through all my videos to try to find it. All right, is it worth buying a car from Carvana? That's a great question, Danny. It depends on if it's the best deal in the market. Danny said, is it worth it to buy a car from Carvana? Now, you can put anything in there. You can put Driveway, any of these online sites, online car buyers, online used car sellers. But here's the game that we avoid. We cannot shop from them exclusively because here's what they try to do. They'll try to sell you a car based on variety. Hold on. My do not disturb should be on. My do not disturb should be on. So anytime you see, hold on one second. I keep getting a call and I don't know why it always does this. I don't want to lose the people on Instagram. Hold on, Instagram. We got you. All right. We should be back on Instagram now. Okay. So most times, especially when we're selling our cars to these people, you got to realize we sell our cars to Carvana, to Driveway, to all these companies because they pay more than dealers on average. If they're paying more than dealers on average, they're usually not the lowest price. When they're selling the cars, they're usually one of the highest. You can't pay people more than dealers and then turn around and sell for less than dealers. That could be part of the reason why Vroom went out of business. But whenever we shop for a pre-owned car, Carvana is always on the list. Whenever we shop for a pre-owned car, CarMax is always on the list. Driveway is always on the list. Why? Because we shop everywhere there's a used car. You may have been trained to shop local with used cars or to shop I only go to Car Gurus. Then you're missing the stuff that's on cars.com. You're missing the stuff that's on carfax.com. You're missing the stuff that's on Driveway. You're missing the stuff that's on CarMax. So we got it just the same way. If we were buying a baby stroller, we're going to go to Walmart, right? .com. We're going to go to Amazon, right? We're going everywhere, right? That's the same way we got to be when we're shopping for used cars. Carvana is just one marketplace. And unfortunately, there are people who shop from them exclusively because they're like, oh, I just love Carvana. I don't have to go into the dealer. And they don't realize that, one, what I teach you won't be in a dealer more than 30 minutes. And also, if I'm not checking their prices, I'm going to overpay. And I'll literally have I didn't have to go to a dealer, but I got a car in my driveway that I could have got for $5,000 less if I just shopped around the right way. I did just mention AutoTrader. AutoTrader's on our list, Alex. AutoTrader is one of our marketplaces. It's one of the marketplaces we shop on. It's just like a Walmart. It's just like a Amazon.com. AutoTrader is a big one. We definitely don't skip any used car marketplace. Now, we don't use AutoTempest because AutoTempest pulls and aggregates some data from other people's websites. They're not their own marketplace, so they can't get all the data. So that's why I don't use them. We just go direct to the marketplaces themselves because no company has the rights to market everyone's product. And so as long as no company has the right to market everyone's products, the only way we're going to see all the product is by being on all the marketplaces. But I'll show you how to do this quick. This shouldn't take you more. Look, y'all, this is going to sound crazy, but it shouldn't take you more than 60 minutes, 90 minutes to get your best deal on a car. No, 90 tops. Tops. Not only do I want y'all saving thousands, I want y'all to save time. Deciding what you want, shopping, test driving, that takes time. That's fun. Getting the deal, that should not take you more than 60 to 90 minutes when you learn how to get bids. Okay. And the more you stick around, the more you use what I teach, you're going to make deals and save more money in like less time. I don't want to spend more than 60, 90 minutes getting my car deal, and I don't. All right. Ivan said, planning to get a new car ASAP. What are the steps to prepare that you would suggest? Well, first thing is to know whether you're buying or leasing. Let's go into this game. All right, let's go into this game. Thanks for reminding me. Now let's this is a game that I've done this on in some master classes. This is also in Cars from Home University, my video library. So what I want to show y'all is I want to show y'all this game I like to call Who's Winning. Okay? This is why. Now listen, we get ready to make some people mad at some people. I don't want y'all to get mad, but once y'all see this, y'all are gonna be mad at some people who taught y'all bad information about leasing, and it's cost y'all money. This is always step one. Now I'm getting calls from Facebook. How could this is so weird. I don't get how the heck I have my phone on do not disturb and I'm still getting calls. That is so weird to me. Got to figure that out. So bear with us, Instagram. Instagram is always the one that has to bear with us, you know. But all right, so this is what we're doing here. And look, go to YouTube or go to Facebook and watch the rebroadcast. Rob Rue said, "Where do I purchase the book?" Everybody who wants to purchase the book and get the 75% off, if you're on Instagram or TikTok, go to my bio, click the picture of me, go to my bio, you'll see a link, and then you'll see 75% off. Grab it. You won't even leave the broadcast, so you don't have to worry. You'll be right here. You'll still be able to hear me. And then if you're on YouTube, or you can go to deshonsbook.com. If you're on Facebook, go to Deshon's Book, or you can scan the QR code. So what we're about to do, I'm going to ask y'all a question. We're going to go down the road and we're going to compare two different people here. People who buy a car and people who lease. This is step one. Before you think about how much you're getting how much you're going to pay, your budget, any of the things, do I have down payment? Before we think about any of that, I want y'all to know what the most important question is. That's leasing versus buying. So on this screen, I'm comparing a person who leases and got a brand new $40,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee 2024. Now, I want y'all to look at this if you're on Facebook and Instagram. If you're on Facebook or YouTube. This person with a good lease deal is paying $500 a month. $500 a month for a brand new $40,000 car. Now, the person who purchases, some of y'all know every $5,000 on a loan is about $100 per month. So if you're looking at a $40,000 car, you're looking at about $800 per month on a 5-year loan. Now, I got this person in here on a 6-year loan at $675 a month. That's how much this car costs. 6-year loan, 3.99%. $675 per month. Let me ask y'all a question. Looking at this screen, who's winning so far? Two people drive off the lot in a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee. They have the exact same vehicle. One is white, one is gray. One person's paying $500 a month. They're leasing it. One person's paying $675 to buy it. $675 for 6 years. Who's winning, the lease or the purchase? Put L or P. We're just talking about, literally, we just drove off the dealership. You sitting in this car next to me. We got the same truck. I'm paying $500 a month. You purchased it. You're paying $675. Who's winning? The lease. Exactly. If you're saying purchase, you're missing it. You and me are in the same car. I'm leasing the same car as you for $500 a month. You're paying $675 a month. Same exact car. Who's winning? Exactly. See, Rob, and these are the things where we can't look. There isn't the purchaser is not winning. It's not no. It depends. We have to go straight up. We have to go straight up by the numbers. See, that's where we lose at. We lose with all of this subjective, oh, well, it depends on how we look at it. No. You're driving a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'm driving the same vehicle as you. I lease it, and every month $500 comes out of my household. Every month $675 comes out of your household. We have the same exact car. Who's winning? The lease. Exactly. That's what we got. We're gonna go down the road. And listen, go subscribe to YouTube. Watch we're gonna syndicate these episodes. So you might be watching the syndication. It doesn't change the value. I want you to see that $500 a month coming out of someone's household is $175 less than $675. So the person who leased so far is $175 per month richer. Every month, the person who's leasing over here is $175 per month richer. Now let's go to the next slide. Now, 3 years later, person wants to buy. Person wants to buy. Now, here's the thing about the purchase. There's an amount you owe. On a 6-year loan, they would owe $24,000 at the end of 3 years. I've already done it. You can watch this. That's how much the balance on their loan would be. It would be $23,400. So that's the amount they need to break even on the car. Now, mind you, they've already spent $175 per month more than the person who leased. So they're $6,300 poorer. You can see they're $6,300 poorer. See, I want y'all to see that everything that you're doing when you're not leasing is trying to catch up to the person who got a great lease deal. Everything from the moment you purchase, you're putting so much money out into the car compared to the people who get great lease deals that now your only goal is to catch up to them. This is why this is step one right here. Go to YouTube, watch it on YouTube so you can get the whole view. So $675, $500. Now, this vehicle, y'all, is $40,000 brand new. What is a 3-year-old vehicle worth? If it was $40,000 brand new, what is it worth after 3 years? $40,000 is a fair estimate $24,000. I tried to look at what I believe a fair estimate is for a 3-year-old vehicle resale value. If we purchase a vehicle for $40,000 in 3 years, when we go to trade it, 36,000 miles, is it fair that vehicle, a fair estimate is about $24,000? You're not getting 28. Let's be honest here. We're not buying a vehicle for 40, coming back and get 28 3 years later. So here's the problem. When we get 20, you're not getting 28. And don't let the last 2-3 years of having high resale values confuse y'all. Don't do that. You will destroy yourself. You don't want to. There is no class, Solomon. There is no class. This is the class. Just tune in and lock in. Like, this is serious financial education that is going to be simple if you just focus on it. If you buy a vehicle for 40, the average that you're going to see that vehicle when you go trade it in is you get about 24 on. That is going to be a good cash resale value. And that's what happens to most people. And as you can see, they still owe, if your vehicle's only worth $23,400. I mean, if your vehicle's only worth 24, but you owe 23,400, you're breaking even. This is nothing. Like, I've already spent so much more than the person leasing. And now when I go to trade my car in, I'm not even able to get enough money to catch up to them. I'm not able to I'm $6,300 behind the person who leased when you purchase, and I'd have to get all that money back to make it worth it to have bought. That's why, y'all, when you buy your cars and trade in, you notice how much you always worry about how much you're going to get for the car. Y'all notice that if you're a person and you buy your cars and you keep them 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, you notice how you're always worried about, man, that's all you're giving me for my car? That's all you're giving me? Nah, you got to give me more than that. You know who doesn't worry about that? Keepers. Anybody in here who buys a car, keeps it till the wheels fall off? You never worry about what the car is worth, right? Because you're using all that value. That's what we do when we purchase. But here with a lease, you're always behind. If you purchase a brand new car compared to a person who leases, you're always behind. You can't catch up with them. You're paying too much money. So this is an intro. We didn't even talk about the fact, what if the person has an accident? And I really like wish that y'all could see this on YouTube. And can y'all see the screen on Instagram? I don't know. Are y'all able to see the slides on Instagram? I don't know what view y'all have on Instagram, but we're not talking about if the person has an accident. If the person has an accident in the car that they own, you lose two grand of your value. So the buyer is always behind. Now we can go down the road. When we go down the road, you'll see that eventually the person starts catching up, but it's only after 8 years. You can't catch up to somebody who's paying $175 a month less than you to drive the same car as you. That money just keeps adding up. And we were taught that we're supposed to purchase, but only if you're long-term. That is when you purchase. 8 years, nothing more. All right, so I got to see how I'll probably try to do this and go deeper when I can get some. It's hard to do it because they can't, everybody can't see it. So just watch the replay of it, and you'll be able to see it. But this is the difference, y'all. Queen Mama said, "I'm a keeper and I need to break. I need a break from car payment." See, but let me ask you. Can I ask y'all a real question? Why are car payments the only payments we need a break from? Let me ask y'all a very real question, because car payments we need a break from, but we're okay with cell phone payments. We're okay with insurance payments. We're okay with car insurance payments. We're okay with, this is like a cost of living. And I don't have a problem when it comes to financially, I want to pay cash for a car, and I'm just going to keep my debt down, and I'm going to make sure that, the interest rates are high right now, so I'm not going to look to borrow. I'm just going to pay cash. That's fine. Paying cash as a savvy move is like, the bank's money is too expensive. I'm not investing. I'm not investing my money in anything. I'm just going to pay cash. But why are car payments the only ones it's the only payment we look and say, well, I want to avoid that. We don't do it with houses. We don't do it with anything else in life. And sometimes it makes us get a bad car because we like, oh, I'm just going to save up $8,000. I'm just going to say. Meanwhile, if we knew how to properly structure our deals, we can get the best car for our budget, under our budget. Because y'all know all cash is saved up payments, right? All people be like, oh, I'm going to pay cash. If you save up $20,000, that's just a bunch of saved up payments. Yeah, she said, I'm tired of house payments too. I understand. And again, if we have the cash and we can go and we can look, I'm going to teach you how to pay cash for cars if it makes sense. And if you have cash, that's great. We got to make sure we get the best price on the car. But at the same time, you need to know when it doesn't make sense to pay cash. If they're doing 0% financing on the car you want, why wouldn't we use the bank's money at 0% and let our money continue to make money, or continue to keep our cash free? So again, because there's nothing to justify it. There's nothing to make it make sense. Oh, I don't want car payments. I don't want any of the payments that I have in my life. But my goal is to get the best you know, the best out of what I'm paying for. But yeah, it's a lot that goes into it. You got to make sure that those that's why y'all, we got to shop below our budget. I need a break from rent. Yeah, we got to shop below our budget. Look, when we let people talk us into cars that are above our payments goals, that are above our monthly expense goals, oh, now we get tired of them. But if your monthly budget was 500 and you went in and you left with a great car at 450, 425, you ain't really tired of that payment. You're tired of the payment, right? Like, you're tired of the payment that's 700 when you really didn't want to go above 650. Now you're like, dang, I'm paying 700 for this car. Dang, I'm getting tired of this. When you're under, you don't get tired when you're under your budget. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Type I don't know, $ if that makes sense. We only get tired of payments when they're over our budget. When they're comfortably within our budget, we're never tired of them. That's why we're fine. So, but we got to learn how to get the best cars for our budget, and that comes through multiple bids. You have no idea. And then it comes through leasing versus buying, which is what we've been talking about in this initial thing. You know, in this initial thing, I'll try to get everybody on one stream, you know, where y'all could all see, because I really want to focus on the people who can see the slides. And, you know, because I know I could engage with them because they can see the slides, and then but it's people who can't. So that's all right. We'll continue to adjust. But you got to know, believe me when I tell you, thousands of people have learned that the biggest issue of affordability for the cars that they're driving was the fact that they didn't understand leasing. Leasing is going to get you 30, 40% more car for the same money when you learn how to get great lease deals. All day long. So if it's people who driving a daggone $50,000 car, they got a $900, $1,000, $1,100 a month payment. At the same time as people driving $50,000 cars, and look, this is their payment. I'm gonna show y'all something that's gonna blow your mind. You can't believe that this is a payment on a car. Right here, look, Greg is in our Facebook group. He's in our Cars from Home University program. He said, my first time posting here. His MSRP on his car that he got, it's a Kia EV6 Win with the tech package. $56,275 car, y'all. $56,000. That vehicle, if he went in there and said, I want to purchase that, you know, man, I'm not leasing nothing, you know, how much is it? That vehicle is $1,100 a month on its best day. 5-year loan, $1,100 a month. If he stretches out the loan 6 years, maybe it's $1,000 a month. I don't ever recommend you go above a 6-year loan. When we get into structuring our deal, y'all gonna hear me talk about the rule of 72, 10th birthday. We don't ever want to go above a 6-year loan. It's very risky, and it's a sign of affordability. We can't afford the car. It's like a 40, 50-year mortgage. So the point is, if he walks in to get that car, he's leaving with $1,000 car payment. Same car. Look at what he got, y'all. Shopping multiple offers. The dealer that won the bid, his payment is $527 a month. $527 a month. He gave him first month's payment, and he drove off. He said no other dealer came close. Some people may have shopped that car and said, Deshone, I was shopping a lease for that car. They was telling me it's $800 a month. Absolutely. That's normal, because the overpriced dealers that we don't buy from are going to take their shots. But in order for us to see that, wait, this car is not really $800. The best deal on this car is $527. We have to shop multiple offers. Now, it's not always going to be that dramatic, but I promise y'all, when y'all shop multiple offers, it's going to blow your mind. The best deal to the worst deal is going to be $3,000 to $5,000 different. And you're going to see that some of the dealers that you've trusted the most, that you've been buying from, maybe your family been buying cars from them, some of them may be the ones to take the biggest shot at you. So you have to shop multiple offers. But y'all see how there's no comparison to that deal Greg just got? $527 a month. Another person is driving the exact same vehicle paying $900. This is how, when y'all see these videos of that, people average car payment is $1,000. How? Because they don't understand leasing. They don't understand leasing. Once you understand leasing, you'll understand how these people are getting jammed up and how you may have gotten jammed up in a high car payment for a car that you might feel like, oh, I'm paying way too much money for this car. And then the opposite side is, if we are purchasing, we have to make sure we are getting the best price for the car and we are getting the best interest rate we can get. Does he lease to buy? No, we don't do lease to buys. We don't mix the two. Leasing is its own benefit. That's a great question. Great question. Let me put the banner back up for those of you who want to get the book. See, if you don't want to have to remember all of this, grab your book. My new book is called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. It's digital, so you could download it, be literally using it in 2 minutes, and just go to deshonsbook.com. It's 75% off for our launch, and you can get your copy. If you're on Facebook or if you're on Instagram or TikTok, you could go right to my bio. Click the link in my bio, get your copy while it's 75% off. Price goes back up to $97, I think, after 30 minutes. All right, so your payment is over $1,100 now, and look, that means your loan is probably somewhere around 60 grand or more. Depends on how much it depends on what your term was. So if your payment was $1,100 a month, on a 5-year term, that's a $60,000 loan. That's about a $5,500 loan on a 5-year term. So you want to look at other ways to acquire that car. Is there a way that I could have been in this car for less money? Now, watch this, Gigaware, because he's being honest. My payments is $1,100. If you are buying that car and your intention is to keep it, and that means your intention is to keep it for 8+ years, you're going to pay off that car, and then you're going to just, start to catch once you don't have a car payment, you can start to catch up to the person who leased, because the person who leases is always going to have a payment. That's the downside about leasing. There is no opportunity for you to pay off the car, and you don't want to. Again, it's not like when you're not keeping cars long enough, you're getting great lease deals. The goal is not to pay off the car. The goal is to drive the most car I can for the least amount of money. That's the goal with a lease. The goal with a purchase is to now pay off the car and start to now keep the car long enough for the depreciation to cool off. Depreciation is the value that it loses every year. Thank you, Becky. Good to see you as well. Long time. Great to see you. So depreciation is the value the car loses every year. When you buy a brand new car, you lose 20% the first year. Then you lose 15%. Then you lose 15%. Then you lose 12%. Then you lose 10%. And as you keep the car longer, it gets to a point where you're only losing 5% or so a year. But you must keep that car long enough to get to that point. And what many of you have been taught to do, you may have been taught to, man, I buy my cars and then I'm replacing them in 3 years. I'm replacing them in 5 years. Now I'm replacing my cars when they're losing the most value. That's not when you want to replace a car. You now bought the car, it's losing value like crazy for the first 6-7 years. Now, perfect. It's going to cool off now. It's paid off now. Now I can start to recoup some of all that money that I put into that car. But most people don't do that. You may have been taught, I just go and get another car and I start the process all over again. So not only are you never getting to benefit, not only are you always having a payment anyway, you're not getting the benefit from all the money that you're putting into these cars. You're never allowing the depreciation to cool off to where you got no car payment and you just got a car out there and you can stack some of this money up. It just happens all the time. It's an issue of not understanding leasing. Leasing is for short-term people less than 8 years. Purchasing is for long-term people more than 8 years. And don't worry, we'll continue to go deep on this. All in the book. So anyway, anybody who wants to really know this and have it all in one place so they can use it, if you're shopping for a car now or in the next 12 months, you need this stuff right now. You know, I got tons of videos all over all my Facebook pages. But if you want all the information in one spot, get your book at 75% off. Just make sure that it's not showing the $97 price. Whenever you click to the website, make sure it's showing the 75% off price. So you can purchase off the bank loan. I don't know what you mean by that, Skinner. Is it smart to lease and then buy it out? No, see, and again, that's a very common question. Yo, what's the benefit of that? I mean, somewhere along the lines, we heard about leasing to buy. We don't want to, you're only leasing because you don't want to buy the car. You're buying the car because you want to keep it and take care of it for the long run. I see you, Dr. Coop. Congratulations. She said, I got the book. Enjoy it. Use it. Don't read it. Use it. And, I really can't wait to hear your success story. There's no reason. Look, when I'm going into a lease, and you got to have this in your tool belt. Some of you, your children are not going to keep a car 8 years. You're going to need to set them up to get a great lease. Yeah, you might be a person who like Deshone. I just buy my car, man, I keep it 10 years. If that's you, type K for keeper. Most times, if you buy your car, you keep them 10 years, type K in the comments for keeper. Thanks, Ambi. Said keep killing it. Appreciate you. If you are, the book is called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. It's in my TikTok bio and it's in my Instagram bio. But I think you only got, it's 30 minutes. You could get it for 75% off. While everybody is on, you could get it 75% off. Okay, so keepers, you are not, you're not worried. That's when you buy. When I'm going into lease, I'm not thinking about keeping. We don't want to mix the two. Leasing is, I'm going to get a great lease deal where I drive a brand new car for pennies compared to purchasing, or for a small percentage compared to purchasing. That is a lease. My goal is not to buy the car. It's not to buy the car. You see, when we keep, we win. When we lease, we win, as long as we're getting good deals. But it's people who are mixing the two, and that might be you, and that's where we lose. We buy, and then we trade. We buy, and then we sell it in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We tired of it. Oh, I'm gonna go switch out of this. That's mixing. The other one is you lease, and then you purchase the lease. So you lease your vehicle, and then you go buy it at the end. That is mixing. You don't want to mix because the benefits of leasing are laid out. The benefits of purchasing are laid out. Very clear, separate benefits. When you mix the two strategies, you lose the benefits. And again, most people who would tell you they bought their lease, they're buying it with a 5 or 6 year loan when they've already been paying 3 years to lease it. The lease is 3 years. The loan is 5 years. That's 8 years. And I'm going to tell y'all how this happened. How I figured out this was so bad, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was in the dealership one day. Somebody comes in. They're like, hey, I want to replace my car. So I go out and I look at the car. I ask them what they owe. No, I don't think I asked them what they owe. They come to the dealership. They say, yeah, I got a car out there. I want to trade it in for a new car. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty normal. Let's take a look. Here's what happens. I say, what year is it? And they'll say, well, it's a 2018. I'm just using like a real example. Like they say, oh, it's a 2018. Now I'll ask them, how long have you had it? And they'll say, well, I bought it brand new. So I've had it 5 years, 6 years. Now, follow me, y'all. Everybody on here, I want your opinion on this. Person comes up and says they've had a car for 6 years. They bought it brand new. They've been paying on that car for 6 years. Don't you think that car should be paid off by now or almost paid off? Yes or yes. Type Y if you understand. Person bought it 6 years ago. You go out and I'm like, okay, mister, how long have you had it? They're like, I've had it for 6 years. So I'm like, okay, perfect. Everybody's saying yes. So this is what I'm thinking. This is how I found out buying your lease was a bad idea for most people, if not all. So I go and I say, okay, great. I see you're here trading. Now, in my mind, I'm already trained to talk to him about leasing because, thank you, Brent. I know you're here trading this car in 6 years. I want to show you what leasing looks like, and you're going to love that a lot better. You're not going to need this down payment. I'm going to be able to give you a check back for this equity in this car you got here. It's going to be all good. And I've helped some people do that. They come in and I show them the lease, and I'm like, you know, you keep just trading your cars, but if you lease, here's what, boom, that you could do. And then I'll give you this, you know, you get a big check back for your balance of your old car, all of that. So this is when it works, it's beautiful. But when it doesn't work, this is what it looks like. I'm like, I run in and I'm like, okay, your car is worth about $15,000. Instagram just logged me out. Instagram just logged me out of nowhere. I don't know what happened. Let's see if I could go back. All right. So now when it doesn't work, so I go out and I find, you know, the used car manager may tell me this car is worth $15,000, and I'm like, okay, perfect. It's probably paid off. Great. He's gonna get like a check back for like almost all that, and then he's gonna have a low payment. He's gonna love it. So I find out when I call the bank, I say, how much you owe? He says, well, I don't really know. I call the bank. I'm like, okay, I'm calling for Mr. Jones' payoff on his, you know, such and such car. And the bank says, okay, yes, the payoff is $15,000. I'm like, wait, 15,000? How could he still owe 15,000? This doesn't make sense. I look at him and I say, the bank is saying you still owe 15,000 on the car. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I didn't know how much I had owed. I said, wait a minute. Didn't you tell me that you had this car since it was new? Yeah, and you told me you had it for 6 years? Yeah. How do you still owe? And he said, oh, I leased it first, though. What I did was I leased it for 3 years, and then I had bought it at the end. And I'm like, there we go. That's the problem. You leased it for 3 years. Most people, when they're buying their lease, they're going to put a 6-year loan on it, which means 6 years later, from the day you bought it, from the day you originally leased it, 6 years later, you've been making payments and you still have 2 more years of payments left. That's actually, I'm wrong. That's 9, 3 years of payments left. Happens all the time. So I literally, y'all, smart people on here, you'd never take a 9-year loan, right? Type never. You never take a 9-year loan. If you're enjoying, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed already, we still got probably 400 or 500 people on here throughout all the platforms. If you, whatever platform you're on, make sure you're following us, because this is the stuff we do. You would never, right? You would never take a 9-year loan. But the same adamant, we're adamant we'd never take a 9-year loan. We got to see every single time. Thank you so much. I appreciate the gifts on TikTok and all the platforms. We got to take every time we hear about buying our lease out, unless we're going to pay cash for it, which is another discussion. But most people are not. They're going to take a 5 or 6 year loan out. So as soon as you hear lease to buy, as soon as you think lease to buy, I want you to think 8 or 9 years of payments on the same car. That's why it's a bad idea. That's why it's a horrible idea. Okay. Now, if you are comparing, we had somebody in our group yesterday who was asking about buying his lease out because he's going to give the car to his parents and because they're going to keep it long term. And the value of the car compared to the value of a similar used car is a great deal. That's different. Buy it. Because all you're doing when you're buying your lease is you're buying a used car. It's your car. I used to help people buy their lease. Hey, they come out of the office. We switch the plates because we got to re-register the car. And I'm like, okay, so how was it? Now, they just signed up for a 5-year loan, 6-year loan on a car that they've already been in for 3 years. They're not really excited about it. You know, I've had the car for 3 years. At least when you go buy a used car, you're excited about it. You're excited. Oh, nice. It's new to me. But when you buy your lease out, you're not really excited. Thank you, man. Y'all going crazy with these gifts and everything. I appreciate it. So these are the things, like what I want y'all to have, as long as you stick with me and you learn what I teach, you're going to have clear boundaries that you operate in that always protect you. That's the name of the game. There's clear things I do. There's clear things I don't do. I know I have rules. I have boundaries. And what I want y'all to get familiar with is the 8-year rule. The 8-year rule is the first rule. It says if you're not keeping your car 8 years, you should not be buying it. You can't outlive the depreciation. You cannot outlive the depreciation compared to someone who purchases. Now, it's too much to go deep on right now. We'll go deep because I know some people thinking, oh, Deshone, but if I pay cash for a brand new car, I'll pay less overall. Yeah, but if you pay cash for a brand new car, you're still laying out all the money. You're still laying out all the money and you're still trying to get that back. You're still, oh, I paid 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand. Do you understand that a person who leases that same car, what would you rather be? Big dog who thinks you're big dog because you're going to write a $50,000 check, or a person who comes in and says, I'm going to get that car for $500 a month. Do I want 50 grand coming out of my bank account going into a car, or do I want $500 every month? It's much more, it's a much more pleasant feeling to give a bank $500 every month to drive their $40,000 car than it is to say, okay, you want this $40,000 car, then you come give us a check for the whole amount and the taxes and everything. Now I'm taking the check out, boom. And again, there are situations where that's right, but I want you may have been somebody who's like, yeah, but I don't think it's right for me. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not one of these people that's going to make y'all feel like you are wrong by using leverage and learning how to creatively acquire cars where it's a little bit of money coming out of your bank account every month versus what people have told y'all and how you should be buying cars. Thoughts about leasing luxury vehicles. It doesn't change, Dr. Doctober. That's a great question. He said, what are your thoughts about leasing luxury cars? Same principle, 8-year rule. I don't care whether you're leasing a G-Wagon, whether it's a Bentley you're looking at, whether you're looking at a Toyota Corolla, the 8-year rule is what applies. Because the 8-year rule takes into account the depreciation. If you look and say, that's a car I'm keeping for 8 years or more, you buy it. If that's a car you're not keeping 8 years, you're going to see you'll pay thousands less and drive a better car leasing it, even if you try to buy it used. So I'll need more than one broadcast to really go deep on this. I'm just getting familiar with how to use all of these tools where I can show you all stuff. But we'll continue to go deep on this. This is not a subject. If you've gotten years and years of bad advice, it's not always. Some of you get a breakthrough immediately, and some of you it takes more time because again, it's been beaten to your head, and people with loud voices who shout tell you this is what you do, or you never do this, or you always do it like this. You know, like who's heard somebody say never buy a used car? I mean, never buy a new car, always buy used. Who's heard that? Type of U for used. If you were taught you always get a used car, you should never get a new car. Who's taught that? And we got a couple more minutes. We'll stay on. We'll do some more questions. As long as y'all continue to share the broadcast and continue to stay tuned in, I see we still got hundreds of people on. Then we'll continue. All right, now let me tell y'all how. See. You either have to teach something that works for everybody, or what you teach will mess people up. If somebody says to y'all, every single one of you should be buying used cars, because that's what they'll say. Never buy a new car. Everybody on here should be buying a used car. So that means you think everybody in the country should be buying used cars, right? Yeah, absolutely. Nobody should buy a new car. Nobody in this whole country should buy a new car. Like, no, always buy a used car. Okay, perfect. So let's just say if you had your wish, everybody in the country will be buying used cars, right? Because that'd be better for them, right? Yes, if I had my wish, everybody would be buying used cars. Then here's my question. How do they become used cars then? How do they become used cars if everyone is buying used cars? I want y'all to think about this. If you had your wish, you could snap your finger, Mr. Financial Advisor, whatever you teach. How could everyone buy used cars? It's impossible. The cars come in new. They don't just, so if everybody was buying used cars, what's happening to the new cars? They're just sitting there. And then, so that's not a practical solution. How do we acquire? Who should be buying brand new cars? People who are going to lease them, and people who are buying new cars, who want to purchase, keep long term, and you could afford new. That's only if some people say, Deshone, I want to buy. I'm not leasing, I want to buy. I keep my car, but should I buy new or pre-owned? That depends on budget. That depends on, unless you want one specific from a year, sometimes it'd be like, oh, I want this special year. But if it's a case of, you know what, I could afford both. Should I buy new? Should I buy pre-owned? That's a matter of budget and preference. If I could afford a new one and I can keep it long enough to outlive the depreciation, then I'll buy new. But if I can't afford to get a quality vehicle for my budget, then I'll buy pre-owned. And some people want to treat themselves. Some people like, I only get a new car every 10 years, Deshone. I'm going to get something new. That's fine. That's fine. As long as it's long term, because time heals all wounds. We killing the likes on TikTok too. I appreciate everybody tapping the screen. Y'all still running the likes up. Appreciate it. Shout out to the subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube yet, please, we invite you to subscribe. This is what we'll do. You'll get notifications of when we live, so you can make sure you tapped in. I see you, Barbara. She said, I just bought the book. I appreciate everybody who got the book at 75% off. This is the launch. I'm excited. As y'all saw earlier in the broadcast, we're already rated 4.94 on Goodreads.com. We got 31 reviews. That book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, has been really changing people's lives and the way they shop. It's a tool. It's not something you read. It's something you use. So get your copy at deshonesbook.com, 75% off, or you can scan the QR code, or if you're on Instagram or TikTok, just go to my bio. And as long as you're seeing this, you still should be able to get it at the 75% off price. And it's immediate download. So, and you'll see as you read it, there's a reason I had to make it a digital book. I couldn't print it because it links to videos, it links to docs, I got scripts that it links to. There's no way I would have been able to do it printing the book. And then also, sometimes I need to update stuff, like Vroom went out of business 2 months ago. If I would have printed the book, now Vroom is, I need to be able to update real time when something happens, and I couldn't do that with a print book. I didn't want thousands of print books out there, and then something changes, and now I got to tell people, oh no, you got to get volume 2 now. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Angelina. All right, so Dr. Coop says, I have a paid off Toyota. I don't want to trade it. Should I have a down payment? You don't need, look, if you can find a deal on the vehicle you want below your budget with no down payment, then do it. You said you have a paid off Toyota. You don't want to trade it in. Now, here's what I ask people. You put the vehicle to use, because if you're going to go and get another vehicle, then you're going to be paying for that vehicle. You don't really want, the only people I recommend have an extra vehicle is if you're a high mileage driver. Who's a high mileage driver? You're driving over 20,000 miles a year. Over 20,000 a year, type HM for high mileage. These are the only people that it benefits you having a paid off car like this. So sometimes it's worth it to buy your car, pay off the first car. And here's what I like. All right, so we got a lot of high mileage drivers watching right now. So I have a strategy in the book, and what you'll hear me talk about is really 2 routes for high mileage drivers, so that y'all can stop having all this negative equity when you come in to replace your vehicles. What typically happens with high mileage drivers, and the reason I suggest to them 2 cars, 1 car payment, is because they're putting so many miles on their vehicle, but your loan is a normal loan. Your loan is a 5-year loan or a 6-year loan. Those loans are made to go down for the normal or average driver. And even the average driver is going to have negative equity on these loans in the short term. So when you are destroying the value of your car because you're putting 20,000, 30,000 miles a year on it, it's going from being worth 20 grand one year to now it's worth 12 grand the next year because you put 30,000. You're destroying the value of it, but the loan that's attached to it is not moving. This is the indicator that the loan and the purchase price or the value of the asset is totally unrelated. They're unrelated. They don't matter. That's why you have to make sure you get a good price on the asset. You can't just pay attention to what is my loan doing, because your loan doesn't tell you what you're really in the car for. So check it out. You now are putting all this mileage on your car. You come in 4 years and you're like, hey, you know what? Car got 200,000 miles on it now. Let me go ahead and trade this thing in. Problem is 200,000 miles. You still got 2 years left on the loan. You still owe 15 grand. You still owe 12,000. You still owe 20,000. And you are now seriously hurting your value, your next deal, because all that baggage you got to come to this next deal. The solution to stay out of that is to make sure that you are having either, I teach either 2 routes. Well, the third is really just be a long-term person. You could drive 30,000 miles a year. And if I'm a long-term person, I'll just have 300,000 miles on my car in 10 years. And then I just go switch it. It's keepers here that's long-term people, high mileage drivers, and they get their car. That thing got 250,000 miles. It's mostly highway. And in 8, 9, 10 years, they go and they replace it. No need to lease. Again, continuing theme. Long-term, don't think about leasing. Because some people who just tune in and they catch a brief, oh, is this so everybody should lease? No. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Long-term people, long-term purchase, you buying a car for your kid in college and they're like, yeah, I'm going to keep that thing for 10 years, man. You know I'm boring. Great. But most kids are not. They're like, hey, when I get my job, when I turn 24, I'm probably going to want something different. So if you're not a long-term person, you should be purchasing. But I mean, you should be leasing. But going back to the high mileage, y'all, this is how it works. The 2 strategies for high mileage drivers is to have one separate car. You pay that thing off. And now that becomes your mileage car. And you go and lease a nice car. This is beautiful. This prevents you from having 2 car payments. And this allows you to have a nice car that you're not destroying. So you pay off that first car. If you're going to go this route, your first deal is a purchase, because you're going to get that first car, pay it off, could be new, could be used, but it must be quality. Pay it off. And as soon as that car is paid off, now I go lease my nice car. So I might be putting a high mileage on that first car I'm buying, but once I go lease my nice car, now I got a payment over here. My nice car is over here. And this is when I take out to dinner. This is when I want to go out and have a good time. I don't want a car that I'm just always putting, 30,000 miles a year on. Now I split it. And this has allowed so many high mileage drivers to continually be able to predict what they're going to put in these cars, because now they can't. You cannot predict how much y'all are spending on these cars, high mileage drivers. Y'all are losing so much on resale value. Your loans are just so high and they're moving slow. You don't know how much you are losing, but I break it down for you. It's thousands. You can't destroy the value of a car and then go trade it. It follows you. So that's one strategy. Second is a high mileage lease. Second is straight up. First time I experienced this, I had a guy came in and he was bringing back a lease with 75,000 miles on it. And I asked him, I said, man, I didn't even know. And that's my ignorance. I was selling cars and I didn't even know that was available. And I said, let me ask you a question. How long you been doing these, like, what do you do? He's like, I'm in sales. Like I do 25,000 miles a year, every year. I said, okay, wow. And you lease your car? He said, yeah. Because I already know what a good lease deal is. I just didn't really take into account back then. This is probably 2015. I didn't take into account a high mileage good lease deal. And when he told me what his payment was, And he said, yeah, I come back 75,000 miles. I drop that thing off. I pay my payment every month. Now here's the thing. He might only be paying $150 or $200 a month more for his super high mileage. But that's much better than him buying the cold car, destroying the value, coming back and trying to trade it with 10, 15 grand negative equity. So strategy, you are not really purchasing cars with strategy until leasing and purchasing is in your tool belt and you know when to use which. For your family, not just you, for your family. It's not just you. All right. So great questions. Great questions. So this is the type of stuff that's in the book. Everything's in the book. Whether you see me live, whether you see me on social media making videos, you're going to get all the information. You don't have to worry about, oh, Deshone is holding back info. It's not. Now, access to me, yes, I have access. I have a Cars from Home University where I coach people personally and we work together. That's access. But as far as the information's out there. It's how you want the information. We'll get it to you anyway. If you want it all in one spot, get the book, get Car Shopping for people that hate car shopping. Download it now. It's 75% off. Scan the QR code or go to deshonesbook.com or go to my Instagram or TikTok bio and get your 75% off copy. But other than that, you don't have to worry about not having the information. See, what y'all have had to deal with is how do we make great car deals? How do we not pay penalties when we don't have the information? But now the information's here. It's here for you. It's just you got to decide, how do I want the information? Do I want to look through all Deshone's videos? I got a video on every topic. More videos to come. They're not in order, and they're for different people. Some of you are going to purchase used cars. Some of you are going to lease. Some of you are going to buy a new car. Some of you are going to pay cash. Some of you have good credit. Some of you don't. So throughout all those videos, you got to sort through that. In the book, you're only following one path. When I do videos, when I do a book, it's like one path. Let's stay focused so that we can keep you on track. That's why it's step by step. Yeah, that's how the book is designed. All right, how do you purchase a vehicle without proof of income? That's tough. You need other things that are going to weigh. That's a good question. So if you don't have proof of income, credit profile gets you approved, not credit score. So proof of income is usually only required when you have a lower score or you have a new company, new business, and they need some type of way to, try to, make sure they're going to be all right recouping their money. How is the car going to be paid? So if I didn't have proof of income, then I got to work on credit. Or I got to have a lot of cash. And even then, what's the reason we don't have proof of income? Once I know that, I could better explain. What's the reason we don't have proof of income? Seems dealers don't care about mileage if you release with them. That's now good time. So now watch this, y'all. This comment just came in. We'll still cycle through all the comments. We got another little while in this hour. We're getting through as much as we get through. It's good time on YouTube said, seems dealers don't care about mileage if you release with them. Absolutely a mirage. I asked y'all earlier, who's had somebody a dealer say, oh, we'll take care of the old payments. We'll take care of the mileage penalty. It's absolutely not true. Since 2006, here's the only time, shout out to y'all running the likes up on TikTok. I appreciate it. Y'all keep running them up. Thank you so much. Shout out to the sharers. Everybody who shares good information, just hit the share button wherever you're at and share with somebody if you're in this sharing. So I've never seen mileage taken care of, ever. No program, no bank, no leasing company, and we've done thousands of transactions. I've never seen a leasing company say, we'll forgive mileage. Never. So that does not happen. Mileage penalties let's say we calculate a $2,000 mileage penalty, that gets rolled over to your next lease deal, and we're working that lease deal with that $2,000 accounted for. So whatever the deal is we're working you now, perfect, here's what it is. Make sure that $2,000 penalty is in there. You pay for that. Now, in some cases, very rare, there's loyalty programs where they waive some payments. Mercedes used to have this. It's since gone away, and they didn't have it on every vehicle. They didn't run it every month, where if you lease another Mercedes, we'll cover 3 of your old payments. So you could get out 3 months early, no penalty, but it had to be waived. Since I got into the business, I've heard dozens of people sitting around me say, we are going to be waiving those, but we're going to be taking care of those payments. Mm-mm. Are you waiving the payments? Oh, what do you mean by that? Are you waiving the payments? See that, and we when you ask them that question, I don't want you to even go in looking to get out early. I'd rather you know what your deal is, so you can shop from home the way I teach, where no one has to reveal that information to you. No one is. If you got the right strategy, you're never putting yourself in a position where someone can lie to you without you knowing it. So if you go in the old way and you go into one dealer and say, hey, I'm looking to get my, new lease and I got like penalties, and they'll say, okay, we'll take care of it. That's putting yourself in position to be lied to. Oh, we took care of that. We built in the payment. Yeah, all the payments are taken care of. This is your new payment. Mm-mm. When we shop, when we take control of our deal, that's not something someone's telling us. That's something we already know. Because when we're over on mileage, we always want to see how much can we sell the car for. I was over mileage on my Jeep, sold it, still made money. Still made money. There's plenty of people who go over on their mileage and can still sell their lease and make a lot of money. Even if they break even, they avoid the penalty. So first is always to do our equity assessment and see how much we can sell the car for. And if we can sell it, we avoid the penalty. And then we're choosing payments. Do we get out early? Do we make the payment? You see, when getting out of your lease early, unless you sell the vehicle, y'all, you can't get out of your lease early. You're breaking a contract. So I don't want y'all I don't want y'all using language or comfortable with language that cost you money, because you've heard people say this for years. Oh, I'm just going to get out of this. No, you're going to get out of it and you're going to pay penalties for that. So because they've taught us, or you've been taught, oh, you can get out, no problem. You call the dealership, hey, you know what, y'all? I bought so many cars from y'all. I know I'm supposed to keep this lease for how many years? It's supposed to be 3 years, Mrs. Johnson. Okay, yeah, but I think I'm ready for something new already. All right, well, when can you come in, Miss Johnson? See, they're never going to say, just so you know, Miss Johnson, if you break the lease, the penalty is going to be, pretty significant, because you contracted for 3 years and now you're getting out. So we're going to have to roll over probably about $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 to your new lease. So no, they'll just come in, get you in, and all right, here's your new payment, Miss Johnson. You don't realize that I'm paying $100 more for this car than I could have been paying if I just waited. But because you've been taught to be a payment shopper, it doesn't matter to you. But somebody who's financially savvy, who's like, man, I don't want that extra $100 coming out of my house for the same vehicle. You're not going to do this. So we cannot ever believe what dealers say about penalties, about, oh, we'll take care of that. We find out, can we sell our car to avoid the penalty? Or if I can't, I either got to pay the payments and get out earlier, or I'm going to stay in it and just take the mileage penalty. That's not a bad idea most times, y'all. Sometimes people will call and say, yo, I'm going over mileage. And I say, okay, well, based on how you're going over, you'll only be over by like 2,000 miles. That's only $500. Oh, I thought it was going to be more than that. Nah, you're going to be over by 2,000 miles. Just, wait till the end. And then when you get your new car, build that 500 into the deal, and that's it. Or just pay the $500. Because very rarely are people, oh, I was supposed to drive 36,000 and I'm doing 100. That's just, wait, something went wrong here. What the heck happened? I can see you were supposed to do 36 and you did 40. You're supposed to do 36,000 miles, you did even 45. Maybe you got a different job. But I mean, how we have to structure our leases right, so that if you know you're a high mileage driver and you take a 10,000 mile a year lease, shame on you. Like, we can't do that. We can't do that. Some people, oh, I'll just buy it at the end. You're killing yourself. You're killing yourself. The residual value, you're going to put a ridiculous amount of money on those, or a ridiculous amount of mileage on that car, and you're going to buy it in 3 years with 90,000 miles on it for the same buyout price that was estimated from your 10,000 mile a year lease. They estimated this buyout price is for a person who brings the car back with 30,000 miles on it. Here's the price. And then you bring it back with 90 and you pay the same price. Oh, I'm just going to buy it because I went over on the miles. No, killing yourself. You're realizing the loss. So again, this is why we want to be in your life. This is why I'm doing my best to be in your life so that you can avoid these things. Anybody who really wants to have somebody, like we're set up. We've been doing this for 3 years as far as a company, providing education. So, I mean, whether it's hundreds, thousands, dozens, we're set up to make sure that everybody who wants to protect themselves and get the best deals are able to do it. Paula, got my book. Phenomenal. Use it. Everybody that got the book, thank you. I appreciate you, brother. I thank you so much, Lord. I appreciate you. We're going to be doing these lives regularly. I think, this is the best format. I like to come and interact and really answer questions and really show y'all, why I want you to start treating cars, buying cars and leasing cars, getting cars like buying small houses. Most people treat getting cars like going to Walmart and getting a TV, big screen. You come back home and you're like, man, it's like you get an itch, but you get an itch for a $30,000 decision or a $10,000 decision. When you start planning out your car purchases the way I'm going to show you, and you go in with a system and a strategy, the way that's taught in my book is 7 steps. First step is deciding whether you lease or buy. 7th step is delivery. So by the time you get to step 7 in my book, by the time you get to step 7 of what I teach, you should be picking up your car or it should be being delivered to you. So it's not about learning and reading and then, okay, Deshone, I just read everything. I just learned everything. I just watched all the videos. Now I'm ready to go get my car. No, we're going to you learn by doing. And if I teach you a different way to shop, different things to do, by the time you get your car, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't need Deshone to tell me what to do step 1 through 7. I just needed him to tell me this is step 1, do that. And then when I'm done, I come back. Okay, Deshone, I did step 1. What's step 2? Here's step 2. Do this now. Okay, perfect. Let me go on these websites, do step 2. Perfect. Just did step 2, Deshone. Perfect. Here's step 3. Do this. And we found that has been able to guarantee success for so many people. And that's how they're able to get the same deals that I get. Like this is this lady right here, this young lady, like Taupe. She got a BMW $54,750 BMW, putting dealers against each other. She got it for $690 a month. She got the protection plan and raised it up. Her payment on that BMW. Now, mind you, if you can see on YouTube, if you can see on Facebook, you can see this slide. $690 a month. People are paying for that $54,000 BMW. People are paying $1,100 a month. To go in and purchase that car, $54,000 is $1,100 a month with no money down because she didn't do any money down. $690. You see what I'm saying? Some of you might be looking, and quite honestly, some people may watch it because we're going to syndicate this. Whether you're watching this live or in syndication, doesn't change the value. You might be driving that same car, and you might be looking and saying, "Yo, I'm paying $1,000 a month for that car. She's paying $690. I put $8,000 down. She put no money down. We can't compare. You think Dave Ramsey, God forbid, and look, shout out to Dave Ramsey. I love what he teaches in terms of financial literacy. I love that he teaches people to invest and build for retirement and make sure I love that. But there's an area that he doesn't know what he's talking about, and that's when it comes to cars. See, look, credit is a big part of it has a lot to do with me helping you. Y'all don't hear me teaching credit. It's important. It's a complimentary topic for us to talk about. I talk cars, how to make sure you pay the lease for them. Yeah, maybe naturally. Let me get some credit tips too. Rodney, you could just go right to my TikTok bio, grab your book. It's 75% off. Click the link in my TikTok bio. You think she can ever listen to someone that tells her you shouldn't be leasing? She knows when to lease and when to purchase. She's not in love with that vehicle. She's not keeping that vehicle 8, 9, 10 years. So how can I drive this vehicle for the lowest amount of money in my household? I'm gonna shop all my offers. The dealer that wins the bid, I'm gonna see what it is. Oh, look at that. It's $690 a month. I'll take it. This is how we are going to keep thousands of dollars in our household. As things continue to go up, I need you guys to be spending, I need you not only to be making sure your cars are below your max budget so that every single month you're not growing tired and weary of your car payment. That means it just needs to be below your max budget. And then the second thing we need is to make sure that you are driving the best possible product for that money. You could be below budget and look at what you're driving for the money, and you're like, yeah, I'm below budget, but could I have gotten a better car for this money? Could I have gotten more car for this money? And I'm here to tell you that when you understand leasing, you're going to see there's no comparison. $690 a month for a daggone $1,100 a month vehicle to purchase. So short term, less than 8 years, we always lease. We never purchase. Now, in another episode, when we start talking about, in another segment, we'll talk about overpriced leases because every lease is not equal. Y'all gonna learn. We can't, every lease deal, even when you learn to shop, you must learn to shop. You must, because some 80% of dealers are overpriced on their leases. 80% of dealers who gave Tope a quote, let me come back from this screen. 80% of dealers who gave a quote to this young lady, Tope, on her BMW, were a lot higher. Some of you even saw it on the video. It said it when she wrote it. It said, man, all these other offers were a lot higher. That's how it's supposed to be. So you can't go back and forth with one dealer. You must reveal the best dealer, the best offer through multiple offers. So that's what you do. And you do that whether you're leasing or purchasing. And when you start doing that, you'll understand. That's in the book. That's what I teach. Bids. One-to-one negotiation is dead. I want y'all to eliminate one-to-one from we never do it. Because you cannot do that with any other item and win. You can't do it with jewelry. You can't do it with groceries. You can't do it with televisions. You can't do it with houses. One-to-one negotiations, you lose every time. You must see multiple options, multiple offers, and then we pick the best one. And what you see is that's gonna be done with loans we get, cars we buy, and cars that we sell. We don't trade. So, all right, yeah, this has been great. I need her contact. I don't know what you, I guess y'all having a conversation. I didn't know what y'all needed contact-wise. All right, let's see. Is buying and selling a car a good hustle? I'm not really teaching people how to buy and sell cars because, if you want to go into the car business, that's not what I teach. Do I have to log out to purchase the book? You shouldn't have to. Let me try to reset. Let me know if it's still showing a $97 price or if everybody was able to get the 75% off price. Let us know. All right, I just reset it, so it should give you an opportunity to go back in there now and get it at the 97% off. All right. Buy dealer loaner cars. It depends. Those can be great opportunities. But again, we still need something to compare it to, Tina. Tina on Facebook said, buy dealer loaner cars. Now, we will buy or lease a loaner car if it's a great offer. So when we reach out to dealers, you'll see in the book, I teach you to go to the website because I give you my scripts. I tell you what to say. Some of you could do it by phone if you want to call a dealership and try to get multiple offers, but I would only speak to a sales manager. And even then, you got to just make sure that you but only speak to a sales manager. But the point is, if they have a loaner car, it needs to be so much better than what I could get a brand new one for. So if, for instance, if the dealer that wins the bid is offering me $3,000 off on a brand new one, but a dealer with a loaner car is only offering me $3,000 off or $3,500 off, and it has 3,000 miles on it, I'm going to go with the brand new. But if I don't have anything to compare it to, then I might think 3,000 off is a good offer for the loaner car. See what I'm saying? See, price assurance is when you guarantee. I want y'all, listen, if you want price assurance, type PA in the comments. You want this every time you make a deal. Price assurance means I guarantee that I paid the lowest price that I could have paid. That's called price assurance. I want you to understand, some of you have been, though, is that possible with cars? That's what I want you to move from now on. I never want you to make another car deal without price assurance. How do you get price assurance? Multiple offers. It's the same way you get price assurance when you're buying groceries, when you're buying, spaghetti sauce. I know I saw enough offers to know there was nothing out there less. Not, I went in, I looked at one brand and said, I gotta have it. I like those. And it was $1 off. And I thought see, price assurance is the best thing with a car, because you literally can look at all these offers and say, this is the best one. It's amazing when you realize you're the prize. Some of you be like, man, I haven't been treated like I'm the prize. I know, we're gonna change that. When you use the systems that I want you to use, you'll realize, dang, I've been the prize the whole time. You mean all of these banks and credit unions would work this hard to try to give me, it's all these options I got? It seemed like before I really didn't know all my options. That's right. But when you now change the way you shop and you now move into a bidding mindset, everyone I'm going to do business with must win the bid. The bank, the credit union must win the bid. And then I'm going to give the dealers a chance to see if they can beat it. Now they bank's going to get a chance to bid. Very soon we'll talk about how to do that without affecting your credit. I want to show y'all this bank bidding war process. We have a specific way we shop for loans, credit unions, banks. We let dealers access our credit, and the way it shows as one inquiry when it comes to affecting our score. You must learn that, because when you see how much money is in the loans, you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be like, dang, I never shopped around the way I should have for my loan. I never shopped around. That's fine. No, there was no one to tell you. Now there is someone to tell you that if you have a $30,000 loan and the interest rate is 5.9, if you could have got 4.9, that'd have saved you $1,000. You get what I'm saying? If you have a $50,000 loan, 1 point on the interest rate, save you $2,000. So we must imagine if you could get 2 points lower, say $4,000. So we are excited to try to get money off the car. We're going to be just as excited to make sure we're not giving that money in our loan. The banks are not loving us because we don't want the banks to like us. We want the banks to say, man, we barely making any money on this loan, but we'll take it. You don't want the bank to say, every time they need a loan, they just come right to us. They love us. Give them 5.9. They don't ask no question. Give them 6.29. Give them 7.2. Whatever. They're not gonna shop. No, we don't want that. So, all right, y'all. So I will be back for another segment. These are the things we're gonna continue to do. We'll be live on all 4 platforms. We look to partner with more platforms in the future. So if there's a platform that y'all think we should be on streaming, let us know. Right now, we are, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So it's been great. We had probably, consistently 400 or 500 people on here. And so if you want to get your book at 75% off, as long as the timer hasn't come down, you should click the TikTok bio. Name of the book is Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. If you Google it, you'll see it's already rated 4.94 on Goodreads. We have 31 reviews. So we're on our way to being a 5-star bestseller. And it's really the people using it. So I want you all to use it. Get it for 75% off. Normal price is $97. Download it immediately. Start to use it. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can scan the QR code and get your copy, or go to Deshone's book. Yes, Mandy. Facebook is the same handle, Deshone the Auto Advisor, on every channel, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's always Deshone the Auto Advisor. So we'll be back to answer more questions. We'll be talking more about leasing, but we'll be talking more about deal structure, shopping, how to check and make sure cars are reliable. There's a lot of cars going out here with bad reliability ratings, bad longevity ratings. So they are not the cars that we need to be buying for keepers. We got things we got to look out for, y'all. Like, this is the tip of the iceberg. We're buying a car to keep. You know how many people have bought a car, it wasn't quality? We didn't check longevity. I thought I was going to keep it 8 years, 10 years, but car started giving me issues, transmission issues at 80,000 miles. I didn't know that. We got to make sure we're checking these things. We got to make sure we look into every, so we'll break this down step by step. I'll be going over my system, my 7-step system, and just going deep with pieces of it and answering you guys' questions. Borrow against your money in the bank. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever gets you the biggest net return, Tina. She said, I don't get loans. Borrow against your money in the bank. As long as, just whatever gets you the best net return. I'm just here to tell you that interest isn't the only loss on money. Opportunity cost is a loss when it comes to financial. If you were taking a class on finance, opportunity cost is real. If I could have put my money in something and made 10% on it, but my money was in a car and I didn't have that money, and that money is losing me 10% in the car. So let's just say I put the 20 grand in the car, and then every year that 20 grand is worth 2,000 less, then I'm losing. It's a negative 10% return every year on that 20 grand. When I could have had that 20 grand somewhere getting me 10%, use the bank's money at 4%, and now I'm still at a net positive when it comes to, am I richer at the end of the year? Am I richer at the end of the month? So I just say that to say we've been taught when it comes to finance, we just talk interest. Oh, I don't want to pay interest. I don't want to pay interest. But I'm here to make sure everyone knows the total package of why people who don't pay cash for cars, who could afford to, who literally can write $100,000 check for anything they want, why they don't. See, I'm not interested in, I'm interested in why the people who could pay cash for cars choose not to. And it's not what you've been taught. Some of it's not because, they just love debt. Now, these people have paid off houses. So these are the things that we're going to be talking about. So, and again, all in my book. If you want it all in one place, grab your copy. But yeah, this was a great segment. We will certainly be back. Always a pleasure. And just make sure you're subscribed so you do get notifications when we go live. Make sure you're subscribed on TikTok. Make sure you're following so that when we're live, you can jump on because we're going to be doing this a lot. All right. I'll see y'all soon. God bless everybody. I'm on TikTok. All right. This is our first time going for everybody. So I think we're hold on, let me hit Instagram. See, but then when I come here, I hit go live. Okay, here we go. We're good. We're good. I think we're good on all 4 platforms for the first time. Listen, if you are car shopping now or in the next 12 months, I want you to type me in the comments. No matter where you are, I want you to type me in the comments. We are live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, as well as TikTok. Good to see you, Colette. Good to see you, Andrew. After you come in, we haven't done this in a while because I'm just getting back into going live. But if you've been with us for a little bit, you know we do a roll call. Where are you checking in at? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time. I see you, South Carolina. Okay. As you come in, if you're on TikTok, could you hit the like button and just, let TikTok know that we're going to be spending some time here. We're going to be talking about some serious money as you come in. If you could like the broadcast, if you're into financial literacy, this is the Auto Advisors. Like this, the name of this segment here is the Auto Advisors. We're going to be doing car Q&A. If you don't know me, this may be your first time seeing me. My name is Deshone. I'm publicly known as Deshone the Auto Advisor. I spent 14 years in the car business before I left in 2020 to focus on teaching people. I see we got Jacksonville, Florida. We got Houston. Okay. We got a couple hundred people on already between all the platforms. We have Philly in the house. I see you. As you come in, just get your questions ready. What I'm going to be doing is going over various topics and doing lots of Q&A. So we're going to be spending this time that, y'all going to hear me go from things like leasing versus buying to things like structuring your deal and budgeting, all with the goal of helping you get below market car deals. So as you come in, if you could tag somebody, I promise you, here's what's going to happen. If one of your friends finds out that you've been following me, following the channel, using what we talk about over here to save money on cars, and then you didn't tag them and they find out later, man, I found this guy, Deshone, he's on, and you're like, hey, yeah, I've been following him for years. And they're like, man, why didn't you tag me? Why didn't you share the wisdom? So I want you to definitely do that. And I guarantee your friends will thank you. So as we come in, let's get ready for Q&A. I just want to make sure I did all the housekeeping. My new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, is on sale right now. It's 75% off for our launch, so it will be 75% off the whole time that we're on. If you're seeing this video, you can go to deshonsbook.com, get your copy for 75% off. It's a digital book, and it's digital for a reason, y'all. It must be. I got links in there. I got links to scripts that you're going to be using. I don't want you guys having unpredictable car buying experiences. I want to see you having very predictable, controlled experiences. And in order for you to do that, you have to know what to say. And so I'm going to be talking about all of that. We'll be talking about all of this while we're on. So let's get to the Q&A. I just want to make sure you know, if you're on TikTok, you could go to my TikTok bio, get your copy. It's on sale for a couple minutes for 75% off. And then if you're on Instagram, you could go to my bio. If you're watching online, you can go to Deshone's book, or you can scan the QR code. All right, so let's get into it. Let me just make sure I can see the comments on Instagram. Let's see if I go live here. And okay. Can you talk about, this is Kira from TikTok. She said, can you talk about turning in a lease vehicle to another dealership to lease their vehicle? Very good question. We don't want to turn in lease vehicles without making sure we can't make any money on them. Some people have asked, do we have equity in every car? Equity is not in every car, but you do need to check if you have equity before you return your vehicle. Here's how we do it. We're going to call our bank. We're going to get our payoff. We need to get our payoff. You don't want the residual value, because the residual value doesn't include any payment you have, anything. You need the payoff. And what that's going to do is tell you the price that you could buy the car for. Now, there's a customer payoff. Can we light up the likes on TikTok, please, so we could get some attention and let people know we setting people free financially. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you could like the broadcast and tag somebody, I promise they'll thank you. So the first thing we're doing, y'all, we're never returning our leases. We are never returning our leases without doing an equity assessment. We got to check to see if we have any equity in our vehicle. We get our payoff. And then we're going to get at least 5 cash offers. At least 5 cash offers. What does that look like? That means you're getting offers from Vroom's out of business. Driveway, you're getting offers from, and I'm gonna tell you, when you do this, if you are selling a lease, you must put no when it asks, is the vehicle a lease? You must put no. I'm gonna tell you why. The way these companies are set up, they're set up to buy vehicles. But in 2022, 2021, when they saw us making all this money selling our leases, a lot of the auto companies got the banks implemented what's known as a third-party restriction, which doesn't limit if you can sell your vehicle. It doesn't. It limits who you can sell it to. So we got to ask our banks, do I have a third-party restriction? And the way these buyers' websites are set up, the ones I just named, the Driveways, the AutoNations, the Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offers, these are people who literally inspect your car, give you a check the same day, CarMax, Carvana, and we must get offers from all of them. See, we don't realize, as y'all learn more about saving thousands effortlessly and easily, you're going to learn it comes through bids. It comes through bids. It doesn't come through giving one person an opportunity to buy your vehicle. We must get bids. When we let the market bid on our vehicles, we're going to win every single time. We're never going to worry about if we overspent. We're never going to worry. This is all in the book. So everything I'm teaching y'all on this live and in my free vid, it's all in my book, step by step, 75% off, get yours. But you have to know exactly what the market will pay for our vehicle. We must know that, and that's very easy to do. Going to these websites, getting these offers. Their offers are really good. They put their best foot forward. Sometimes the dealerships, which are Kelly's Blue Book, Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, they might try to, what they're trying to do is put a number online and see if they can stand by it. So we got to make sure we're very accurate when we tell people how much, what the condition is of our vehicle. But then we're getting offers. So if you get those offers, y'all, and you see that those offers are $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 more than your payoff, then that means you have equity. If it's $4,000 or $5,000, that means you have equity. And here's what you got to know. The customer payoff for our leases, when we're done, we're still talking about answering this young lady's question about what the lease in process is. She asks, should we return a lease and lease another vehicle from the same dealer or a different dealer? What I'm trying to tell y'all and get across to y'all is all of our transactions from now on, who we sell our car to, that's going to be different than who we buy our car from. See, y'all know that the car business has programmed us to give the dealership 3 transactions. We're going to buy a car from them. A lot of times we're going to trade our cars in, and then we're going to get our financing from them. What I'm telling y'all is, as you use what I teach and you really want to save thousands and thousands and guarantee your best deal, if you want to guarantee every time you get a car, it's your best price possible, type me in the comments. If you want to just type a G for guarantee. I want to know every time. In order for y'all to do this, we got to start separating our transactions. So I see you, Terry. I see you, Israel. I see you. Okay, so we all type in G's. This is what we must do to guarantee that we got the best price car. I see you, Father of Legends. I see you, Johnny Martinez. All right, we live on every platform. So when we are shopping, when assessing our equity is the first thing we do after we decide if we're leasing or purchasing. I'm telling y'all that in the steps of car buying, we got to know what order we do things. It's just like baking a cake. If we put the eggs in first and then we put the milk, and it said, no, don't put the milk in until, I don't know, you've let the thing sit for 10 minutes. You just put the milk in, it's not going to be right? So order is important. Shout out to the sharers. I appreciate it. And listen, I appreciate everybody who shares. I appreciate everybody who helps us spread this message. And in time, we're going to do something great for the sharers, because we can't do this without y'all telling people about it. So this is the equity assessment. We don't worry about what car we're going to buy yet. We don't worry about who we're going to get our loan from yet. Here's why. Until we know what our equity position is, we don't know what we're doing. Example, if you run your equity, you find out you got $3,000. Well, that money is as good as cash in your pocket, or you can put it into your next transaction, or you can put half in your pocket, half into the next transaction. Y'all see why knowing your equity position is super important? Here's another reason. Let's say we have negative equity. Negative equity means we owe more than the car is worth. In my book, I talk about, and you'll hear me talk about it in my free videos, there's only 3 things you can do with negative equity. You can pay it off. I call it paying the difference. You take the highest offer. If it's like 2,000 or 3,000 different, you just pay it off and you're now done with it. No baggage. You can transfer it within limits though. So when you go to transfer negative equity over, this is where we get to the point where negative equity can either stop our deals or it can literally kill our deal. The bank is only going to approve a certain amount above the value of the car we buy. So let's say we're buying a $20,000 car. The bank's not going to approve 30,000, 40, 50,000. They're going to look at the price and say, wait, car's worth 20. We might lend 26, depending on the customer's credit, but we're not lending 30. We're not lending 35 on a $20,000 car, which means if you have 8 grand, 10 grand of negative equity, you can't transfer all of that over because you're going above the loan to value ratios. This is why negative equity, knowing the cause, is important. And there's 2 causes. You don't understand leasing and you're switching cars with loans on them. If there's an emergency, we understand that. I see y'all. Shout it out. We live. Literally, I see between all the platforms, we got about 400 or 500 people on here right now. So shout it out. Can we get the TikTok likes up? Can y'all keep tapping the screen on TikTok? Let's make some noise over on TikTok. But we're doing great. So this is why we can't move on. But I'm telling y'all, 99 times out of 100, I've been in the car business since 2006. I left in 2020. And it hasn't changed. The cause of negative equity, 99 times out of 100, is you don't understand leasing. You buy cars, you're not keeping them long enough to pay them off and win with the depreciation. It's not just paying off the car. Some people say, oh, Deshone, I pay off my cars in 2-3 years. But your car's depreciated value is what you need to try to avoid. You need to try to avoid taking depreciation hits. And what y'all going to learn more from me is the 8-year rule. I've already done the math. I'm going to show it to you in time, if you just stick with us. But if you believe me right from the start, you're going to win. If you're not keeping cars 8 years, you're losing thousands of dollars not leasing cars. Does not matter how much you drive. Does not matter. Here's why. Listen. Who was taught? Oh, we lighten up the likes on TikTok. All right, I appreciate you, TikTok. Appreciate all of this. Let me ask you a question. Everybody on here. Who was taught never to lease cars? Be honest. I want you to type never in the comments. If you were taught never lease cars, if you've heard that from someone, I want you to type that in the comments. Here's why this is so important. This is all in my book. My book is called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. It's a digital book. And for the grand opening, it's not a store. For the launch of the book, the official launch, we're doing 75% off for everybody. So you could go to my TikTok bio, you could go to my Instagram bio, you could go to deshonsbook.com, or you can scan the QR code and you can get your book for 75% off for a couple minutes. So we have a lot of people who were taught never lease a car. Never lease a car. Let me tell y'all how much. I'm going to give you a little sense on how much that's cost you. And then, we'll go deeper. Everybody, let's say you're a person who keeps their cars until the wheels fall off. We call those cars keepers. If your next car is going to be a keeper, type K. That means I'm going to keep this thing until the wheels fall off. I'm going to keep this thing 8 years minimum, 10, 12, 15. That's what I do. I see you, Abby. Now, the benefit about buying a car and keeping 8+ years is you get to outlive all the depreciation. Your car loses X% of value the day you get it. And whether you drive it or not, if somebody came and parked a car outside your house right now and said, hey, this car is worth $30,000, it's yours. Now you say, I don't drive. I already got a car. I don't need it. You come out a year later, is that car worth $30,000? You didn't drive it. See, this is your first, you didn't put a mile on it. You didn't touch it. It just stayed out there. It was worth 30 when they dropped it off. Is it worth 30 today, a year later? Exactly. Here's what I'm telling y'all. That's the first deep lesson on depreciation. See, if you get that, now you're getting the clue of why leasing is not about how much you drive. People who say, oh, I like to drive as much as I want to, so I buy my cars because I don't want to pay for the mileage. Here's the revelation. You pay for the usage of the car, whether you use it or not, whether you drive it or not. It's going down. The more usage you put on it, the faster it goes down. So leasing is not a matter of how much I drive. Leasing is, if I get a great lease deal, we're going to talk about that. All lease deals aren't created equal. And these commercials we see that say, hey, 3,000 down, 8,000, these are not lease deals. I'm going to show y'all some lease deals over, I'll actually probably show y'all one in the next couple minutes. Great lease deals are not advertised. They're made in secret. No one really knows about them. The great lease deals are not advertised. Great deals are not advertised. Great deals are not advertised. So you can't judge the lease pricing by what y'all see in these commercials, or it's not going to make sense to you. But when you get great lease deals, it is no comparison. The name of the game is, will I pay less with a great lease deal in depreciation than I would pay if I purchased that car? That is the name of the game. And when I look and see, all right, if I get a great lease deal, I'm only paying 30% of the car's value, 35, 40%, 45%. But if I bought that car, regardless of whether I pay cash, regardless of whether I got a loan on it, the asset, the value of the car is going to go down by more than that. So what we're doing when we're leasing versus buying is we're trying to hedge against depreciation. We're trying to acquire a car that says, based on how I got this car and the price I'm paying for it over 3 years, it's thousands less than if I would have went and purchased that same car and just took the value of the depreciation. And this is what I'm telling y'all. They've hid you can't understand this when you're just tied into payments. And a lot of you know, payments have nothing to do. Some of you who are a little bit more financially savvy, payments have nothing to do with the deal on the car. If you don't know that, you're going to learn that the more you hang out here. Payments have nothing to do with the price of the car, the deal on the car. That's just the financial tool. That's just what you've attached to the asset. If you go and you overpay $10,000 for the car, doesn't matter if you got a loan on it. Doesn't matter if you did no money down. You overpaid by $10,000 for the car itself. That's focusing on the asset. So leasing, y'all, is for people who don't keep their cars more than 8 years. It's that simple. If you do not keep your cars more than 8 years, you cannot outlive the depreciation that the car is losing. The money, you go out, slap 30 grand into a car, that car is losing money for you every single month. So you're trying to say, is there another way I could get a car where I'm not paying this kind of money? If I'm losing $500 of value every month in my car, is there a way that I can lose less than that? And what I'm going to show y'all is leasing is just the way. So these are the first two steps. The young lady asked the question about returning her lease, but I want y'all to know that that's step 2. We assess, can we make any money on our deal, on our old car? And then, but the first thing we got to do is decide buying versus leasing. Leased alone, Good Time said, leased alone car was good. Welcome to everybody that jumped on. My digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. Everything, it's 75% off. You can get your copy while we're on here, but we're going to be going deep on Q&A for at least, I'm not even watching the clock. So just go to my TikTok. I don't think you're going to leave the broadcast either. If you go get your copy, go to my TikTok bio, go to my Instagram bio. If you're on Instagram, wherever you're at, if you're on YouTube, scan the QR code or go to Deshone'sBook.com and get your copy so that we can go deep on this. I don't want you trying to just remember everything that I'm teaching. I want you to have a reference point, and it's affordable for everybody. It's normally $97. Okay, let's go. Things are way too complicated to fix now. I guess you're talking about when it comes to cars, electronics. Another reason people don't feel as confident keeping their cars like they used to is because the cars are getting a little bit more complex. It used to be very simple for you to find a good car, keep it 10, 12, 15 years. There's still cars out there that you can confidently do that if you make sure that you're checking the reliability of the car, checking the longevity of the car. We do this on Google. We have to make sure the cars we're buying are good cars. Then we can certainly avoid, you know, a lot of these cars. But yes, that is a lot of people don't feel as confident keeping cars long term as they used to. How about a lease to buy at the end compared to straight out buying? Cousin Al, that's a good question. He said, how about buying a lease to purchase? Who's heard of that? Who's heard that term before? A lease to buy on a car. You may have heard it with a house. If you've heard that, if you've heard that, let me tell you why that's a bad idea. We're mixing two strategies. See, there's nothing better than for the long-term person than us buying a long-term car, making sure we pay less than everyone else. That we're gonna do that. We're gonna get you stay around me. You learn from what I do, what I teach. You're gonna get below market car deals, new cars, leases, pre-owned cars. The best way to save the most money on a car is to buy it. You could decide new or pre-owned. It's really pre-owned, and you keep the thing 10, 12, 15 years because your cost per year is going to be so low. When you look at how much money you paid for the car over the long run, it's going to be like, wow, I only paid $2,000 per year, $500. The longer you keep. The second best way is buy a new car. Keep it forever. Brand new, keep that thing 12, 15 years. But most people are not doing that. And if you're not going to do that, that doesn't mean you can't switch up. But if you say, Deshone, for my next car, can we keep sending the TikTok likes up? If y'all are enjoying this, could y'all please hit the like button? We got probably 400 or 500 people on here still. If you could hit the like button, that would be great. And I see all the gifts. Thank you. Everybody who's sending roses on TikTok, gifts and all of that, stars. Thank y'all very much. But what you got to know is, what is the strategy for this next car? Is that 8+ years? Then I'll buy it. There's nothing better than that. I'm going to buy it. But you got to realize buying comes with what, y'all? Maintenance, upkeep, repairs. That's what it comes with. But we win when we buy. We win 8, 9, 10, 15 years later is when we win with a purchase. You don't win with a purchase 3, 4, 5 years because the person who's leasing is paying so much less than you. If they got a great deal, they're paying so much less than you to drive a brand new car. It doesn't, like, you don't win. You can't win. But in the long run, you will. So you got to ask yourself, this next car, is it 8+ years or is it less than 8 years? And if it's less than 8 years, then I got to go to my lease strategy. And that could be for my, you know how many people out here, y'all, they're like, oh man, I buy my cars, I keep it till the wheels fall off. I'm not leasing. Yeah, but what about your spouse? What about your children? That car you buying for your 22-year-old college student, are you think they keeping that car for 8 years like you are? No, probably not. Then you should be thinking about, you shouldn't even be thinking about, you should be going to the lease play for them. You know how many people have put their kids in a $21,000 car paying $500 a month, $20,000 Toyota Corolla, paying $500 a month because they wanted to buy them their first car, and they go get them a $20,000 Corolla that they could be leasing for $300 a month, and then that kid wakes up in 3 years and they're like, man, I'm paying $450 a month for a Corolla. I don't really like the car. Plus it's kind of expensive. This is what happens. I've seen it millions of times. Some of you may have experienced this. Your first car might have been like that. Maybe your parents went and got you your first car and purchased it. But I'm telling you that if they understood leasing, they could, especially if you were going to pay the bill, they would understand. we're not keeping this car long enough. We should be leasing it. And so I'm going to keep hammering now. I'm never going to stop hammering because we got years and years of bad information that we got to unravel. People who've been doing damage, y'all. Big audiences, big platforms, just telling people, oh, leasing is the most expensive way to own a car. Guarantee you, if I had 10 minutes on them with a live and I bet them $100,000, are you willing to bet 100? Just let me just ask you. You sound very confident when you're talking to the public. They don't realize how much money they're costing you. So my question would be, if I can show you that advice you're giving them is completely wrong financially, will you pay me $100,000? Will you take the bet? Because if you're willing to say that, stand on it. That's what they tell y'all. Exactly. He said that's what they tell us. See, and that's why I'm here. That's why it's very important what we do. That's why it's important when you share, when you tell somebody about these broadcasts, when you tell somebody, watch what they're doing over there at the like we're coming in to unravel years of bad advice. And a big part of that is leasing. Not the only part, but a big part of that is leasing. But you cannot all lease deals aren't created equal, y'all. Lease deals are when we shop for lease deals, you must get bids. And I'm telling y'all, you must get bids for everything. We'll talk more about that as we continue to go on. All right, let's get to some more questions. Why are taxes added to a buyout when they're already included in the paid? Somebody said, Christina on TikTok said, why is taxes added to the lease buyout price when it's already included in the monthly payment? Well, it's only included in the payment for the portion of the car you're leasing. So when you're paying for, your 30-40% of the car, 50%, the better lease deal you got, the lower percentage of the car you're paying towards over 3 years. That's what the tax is calculated on. That back end, which is when the car goes back to the bank or the next buyer, there's no taxes factored in on that. Depending on your state, sometimes they will put tax on the payment, but they're not usually. I don't recall ever seeing a case where they're taxing you on the whole car because you're not using that portion of the car. That's why when you lease, when you look on your credit report, you'll see the only part you're responsible for is the part that you're using. So even though the car might be 40 grand, it might say balance owed 18 because you're only responsible for that 14. You're not responsible for the back end. All right, we lighten up the likes on TikTok. Appreciate y'all. I see you, Lisa Vasquez. Welcome. Kat, I see you. All right, let's go. Let's continue to rotate questions. What happens to my down payment on the lease? See, a lot of people asking about leasing. This is good. This just goes to tell you something. A lot more y'all gonna lease when you understand it. In fact, when you understand it, your next car will be a lease. Quite honestly, unless you can guarantee me, Deshone, I'm keeping it 8 years. If you say, Deshone, I'm keeping this thing 8 years, you go ahead and buy it. Don't think about leasing. Go ahead and buy it. But if you cannot confidently say I'm keeping this car at least 8 years, and you're gonna learn, I'm gonna do a upcoming show where I show y'all my screen. So if you're on TikTok, make sure you're on YouTube or make sure you're on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, because y'all are not going to be able to see my computer screen when I actually go deep and show everybody, my screen and we compare. I'm going to show you all the numbers because I'm not going to sit here and I don't want y'all thinking this is my opinion. This is by the numbers. So Good Time says, what happened to my down payment on the lease? So you should only do a down payment on the lease after you've already verified you got a great deal. Pay attention. This is very important. Once you down payments, y'all, never come into play until we verify we got a great deal. This is all in my book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, my digital book. You can download your copy. Go to deshonsbook.com. It's 75% off for a couple minutes. You won't leave the broadcast, but I don't want you to miss the opportunity. The book is great value at $97, but for our official book launch, we're doing 75% off. So you can scan the QR code or go to my Instagram or TikTok bio. Get your 75% off book. So when you are doing the down payment, whether you're purchasing or whether you are leasing, it's critical that we verify we got a great deal on the car before we ever talk about payments. This has always been. How many of you have had this question? You're looking at a car and they say, hey, what do you want the payment to be? What's your goal? What's your goal for your payment? Type a $ if you've heard that question. What's your goal for the payment? Thank you, Say What. I appreciate all the compliment. I appreciate it. If you've heard that question, type a $. What do you want your payment to be? What's your payment goal, right? Here's why that's not important. And here's why you never feed into that. If you feed into that, you run the risk of focusing on the payment structure and not the price of the car. You also run the risk of focusing on the payment structure and not shopping for your own interest rate and letting banks bid on your loan. When we do an episode, we'll do a show that is about structuring our deals, and you'll see that when we start getting our financing, y'all, we never want to let anyone run our credit until after we found our car. Because what people are trying to do, y'all, is they're trying to run your credit and they're trying to give you a time limit. Now you have a hard inquiry, but you also have a time limit to go find a car. That's not good. They might give you 30 days or 45 days, 90 days before the approval expires. It's usually 30, 45. That's a problem because now we're out there rushing. But when it comes to down payments, we are only structuring our deals after we found our car. So I teach you how to get bids on your lease. Get bids on your lease, get bids when you're buying a new car. Once you find the dealer that gives you the lowest bid, now you come in and you see how you want to structure the deal. You must get bids first. And the way we shop for leases, I'll tell you about how we shop for purchases too, but the way we shop for leases, we must get all these offers because there's so much money that could be hidden in a lease. It's ridiculous. People would love for y'all to come in and lease and come in and say, oh man, Deshone said, I'm gonna start leasing. Now you go in and they structure you a lease deal. It looks better than a purchase, but it's still not a good deal. So that's why we gotta know when we are shopping for leases, we are always shopping offers with, here's how you shop them. This is in the book, but if y'all want to try to remember this, be my guest. You are getting your lease deals, your offers with first month's payment total out of pocket. First month's payment. Now look, when you shop for a brand new car, you are always getting your offers with tax, title, license, all fees included. When you shop for a brand new car, you're getting your offers from multiple dealerships. I do this online. You can call them. I would suggest you do it my way. But if you want to call them, you can talk to a sales manager and you say, hey, I got this car. I'm looking to see if you got something similar, but I need an offer with all taxes, fees, everything included. And now you're comparing that. But I would only talk to a sales manager if you're going to go that route. Again, in my book, I teach you the scripts. I got the emails that we use to do this. Because you want to use my words. But if you're not going to use what's in the book, you should be calling and asking for a sales manager and just give them an opportunity to beat the quote. That's a manual way to do it, but it's still better than you going back and forth with one dealer. We cannot go back and forth with one dealer anymore because when you start getting bids, mark my word, it's going to blow your mind when you see how overpriced some dealers are. When you see how overpriced some dealers are, it's going to blow your mind. So in order for you to shop your lease quotes, you're shopping your lease quotes with no money down. So good time. When you talk about what happens to your down payment on a lease, well, you're not putting your down payment down until you got a great lease deal. So you get your lease deal, first payment, and then you divide that into the monthly payment. Into the MSRP. Very important. Let me give you all an example. Pull up my calculator. So let's say I got an offer of $500 a month on a $40,000 car. That's what's called a 1.25% lease. You take the monthly payment and you divide it into the MSRP. That gives you a percentage. The lower percentage, the better the deal. And this originated from some of who's heard me mention the 1.5% rule for bad lease deals. Type me if you've heard that. No, you don't have to tell them you're pre-qualified before you go. It's not even a question. We're just shopping for the price of a car. So you've heard, okay. Okay. So, see, and I looked at another question while I was in the middle of answering one. So, wait, we were talking about lease quotes. We were talking about, okay. Okay, that's right. The 1.5% rule. So when y'all hear me mention the 1.5% rule, I'm telling y'all, again, it goes back to the fact the lease, the name of the game with a lease is how much can I pay for a car over 3 years that I'm giving back? The lower, the better. So since the beginning of time, people who got great lease deals knew about the 1% rule. The 1% rule said, if I buy a car, if my lease payment is 1% of the MSRP or below, it's a steal. So if I'm looking at a $40,000 car and my lease payment on it, 12,000 miles per year, is $400 a month, no money out. No money. I know that y'all may have been taught, yo, you got to put money down when you lease. That is a lie. I'm going to be peeling back a lot of lies, a lot of misconceptions, a lot of bad belief systems that we've picked up, and we're going to tear those down. So money down with a lease is absolutely not a requirement. So when we're getting our lease deals, example, 2018, I leased a 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. It was $35,000. I gave them $330 a month, and I drove off. That was my payment. 39-month lease. We'll talk about in the future. We don't do 4-year leases. We'll talk about that in the future. But that's the 1% rule. 1%. Now look at that. Think about value, y'all. You drive off the lot in a brand new $35,000 car, and you're paying $330 a month. That's under 1%. So these are steals. I call these steals. You ever see a lease deal like that? It's not a deal. It's a steal. Now, in order to get that type of deal, you need a great lease program. So we can't. So it's not just like, oh, every car has a 1% deal. No, if they don't have a ton of rebates, if they don't have a good residual value, if they don't have a good rate, then it's not going to happen. But in the long run, we can't control that. All we can control is how we're going to shop. And the way we shop is get your first month's payment. Is you tell every dealer, give me a quote with first month's payment, and put all the taxes and all the fees into the monthly payment. And then you let me know what that is. And you have to know the MSRP, because you divide that monthly payment into the MSRP, and that's going to tell you the percentage. If you see 1.35, 1.45, 1, these are good deals, really good deals. We still need to compare, because I got people who are getting, look, if we don't compare, you could be in trouble. You don't want to just take a deal. There are people who think, oh, I thought a 1.25 was a great deal, and then I end up getting 1.1. You know, so we can't ever assume what's a great deal. We just have to know what a bad deal is. That's over 1.5%. They got me on one of my last leads. Listen, good time. Don't feel bad, man. It is something a lot of people are going to discover the more you work with me, that you have overpaid. But there's been no one to tell you. So there's been no one to tell you. So 1% still, 1% 5 is the max. Exactly, K-Dub. That's the exact formula and ratios we use for measuring great lease deals. 1% or lower is a steal. Between 1% and 1.5 is a deal. That's great value compared to purchasing. So when someone drives off the lot with a great value lease, 1.25, anything under 1.5, they're paying less than someone who purchased. They're paying less than someone who purchased. Once you get above 1.5, you're now going close to spending the same amount as the person who bought the vehicle, which we don't want, which we can't do. We eliminate the benefits of leasing. And some lease programs y'all are going to see are bad. You shop multiple offers and the lease programs are bad. We can't get those leases. I will never co-sign, because leasing is a value play. I will never co-sign you getting a car because you like the car a lot and overpaying for a lease, because the lease program is bad. Sometimes, I want a Range Rover Velar. The lease program is bad. All right, well, I'm going to go get a Genesis GV870, And then, you know, maybe in 3 years, the Range Rover lease program will be good. But right now, I'm not going to do it because no one loves a car that they're leasing. You always just like it. If you're leasing, you're switching cars every 3 years. You don't love anything. When you love a car, you buy it, you keep the thing 10 years. That's love. But typically, a person who's not keeping their car long term, you get, you know, you 3 years, you're like, okay, I could get another car. 5 years, you know, people who buy cars to keep, they don't think like that. Like, they ain't even looking for a reason to get rid of it until, you know, transmission goes out. And then I always joke because as a keeper, what do you do when the transmission goes out? If anybody on here has bought their cars and kept them till the wheels fall off, when the transmission goes out, what do you do? What do you do? See, you're not a keeper. You're not buying a car to be a keeper. That transmission go out, you ready to get rid of it. You ready to get rid of it. Look, a lot of people are like, no, I go fix it. I go get another transmission. Exactly. All right. All right, let's keep the questions moving. Welcome to the people who just jumped on. Happy to have you. If you're enjoying the broadcast, could you please make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube? That's where we're going to be able to share really when we get into, which is coming very soon, I'm going to be sharing visuals for y'all to see. Just sharing a variety of things, websites that we use, things you want to stay away from, website, like all in my book. But in time, you're going to want to see it on YouTube because you might not be able to see it on Instagram or TikTok. What's the MSRP equivalent for used cars? F Broncos asked. Here's what who's purchased a used car? Type a U. If you purchased a used car before, type a U. Type a U if you've purchased a used car before. Okay, I see Al Boogie, I see FL Bronco, I see Amore, I see Justine. Okay, every platform. Ebony Eyes. Okay, Larica. All right, I'm gonna give y'all the biggest. This is gonna be major, y'all. And you're gonna see like, wow, how the heck could we even know we're getting a good used car deal without knowing this? Tell y'all how important it is to have the original MSRP of the car you're purchasing. So I have a 2020 Infiniti QX 60 truck. I bought it a year ago. It was 3 years old. Now I saved 42% off the price when it was brand new. Here's why it's important. We don't know when we're shopping on these used car websites. I call them marketplaces. Y'all are going to see in my book, if you do get my book, or even in my videos, you'll hear me talk about the multiple marketplace strategy where we're on these used car marketplaces. We got to be on all of them. But here's what they try to sell you on, because it's based on who's paying them. They're trying to sell you on market value. The true way to buy a pre-owned car, after you check to make sure it's a good one, but I'm talking about how do we know we got a great price on it? We must know how much it was brand new. We must know how much the car was brand new. Give you an example. I was looking at this Infiniti truck. I had narrowed it down to my top 3 or 4. I think I narrowed it down to my top 4. Now they're all white. They all look similar. They're all in similar price points. How do we choose? This is where we usually are stuck. And this is where we usually make a bad decision. I'm going to tell you why. I get the MSRP of these cars. By the way, my special strategy for getting the MSRP, one of them is to go to the dealer's website. Most dealers have a contract with Carfax, and that car will be on their website. That's my first line of defense. Again, everything I'm talking about, y'all, I don't hold back. It's in my book, or it's going to be in my free videos. But some people want everything in one spot. One spot, step by step. That's what the book is. 75% off in my bios, or go to Deshone's book or scan the QR code. So I look and I pull the MSRP, the window sticker for all of these vehicles, and what do I see? The 4 vehicles, the original price of them, one is 46, one's 48, one's 52, one's 54. Why is this so important, y'all? They've taught y'all to buy used cars based on what? Nothing. This is what we're asking for the car. Okay, I think I see some less than that. If all of these cars were 31,000, but one was 54, that's the best deal. In fact, none of those other deals are even close. That car right there has more packages in it, more equipment in it, special features in it. Those other cars don't. So the percentage of the discount that I'm getting off the car is higher here. Does not matter what the dealer's asking for the car. See, we've been taught you go and you focus on trying to get the dealer's price down. That is true in some cases. But what's more important is I need to know, based on what the dealer's asking for the car, how much off MSRP, original MSRP, am I actually saving? Is it 30%? Is it 40%? Because I might look at this car here and yeah, they might be asking $1,000 less for it, but the original equipment in that car is $5,000 less equipment. This is why it's very important. It's critical. I would not buy a used car, and I would never recommend you buy a used car without seeing the original MSRP, so you know, one, what's in the car, what features it has, but more importantly, I cannot determine who saved me the most money. I can't determine who gave me my best deal without knowing what the car was originally priced at from the day it came into the country. And y'all, unfortunately, and I hope it's nobody on here, but unfortunately, we probably do have it where during the pandemic, people were paying 90, 95, 100% of value for used cars. When I mean a Toyota Camry that brand new was 30, they were paying 29 for it, and it was 3 years old. See, I call this true value percentage, TVP. Y'all are going to hear this. We call this true value percentage. We can't look at a used car. See, once we see, wait a minute, based on the new price, the car when it was new, you charging me 95% of the car's value, and it's 3 years old. Once we start looking at true value percentage, car was brand new 30, you asking 25. Okay, you knocking this percentage off. This is how we make sure. Now look, that doesn't help us get quality cars. That doesn't help us stay within our budget. We'll talk about that in the next hour. Because what I'm going to be doing is I'll be doing these shows throughout the day in hour segments. So what you'll see is every time I come, we'll do if there's something that we want to tie up, we'll try to do it in both hours. Again, it's very tough to go over all things and then do Q&A and just get it done in a couple minutes. So some things may continue to the next hour, but once y'all get this, it doesn't change. So although, some of this might be brand new to you. I'm sure it is for a lot of you, having a system for how you shop, boundaries. But once you see how this thing works, it doesn't change. That's why I could write a book. That's why I have a library of videos that are step-by-step. The step-by-step version of my book is the Cars from Home video library, because I know we're so ahead. The car business is so old. I don't have to worry about this changing in the next year, 2 years. If anything, like Vroom went out of business, we adjust that. I might adjust that one section because Vroom's not in business anymore. But the way we teach you to purchase cars to guarantee you pay less than everyone else, to guarantee you save the most money on your loan, to guarantee you get the most money for your old cars, that's not going to change because we are just too far ahead of what the car business is doing. Welcome. Blessed said, I'm new here, been watching your shorts. Great job, homie. Good looking out. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed yet on YouTube, could you make sure you subscribe? Everybody who's on any other platform, if you could subscribe to us on YouTube, that's where we'll be, able to put a lot of our widescreen stuff so y'all can see. We're gonna teach, but what y'all gonna see, even in the book, it's not teaching and then you're trying to memorize it. It's just shop different, When you shop different, you'll see, oh, this is a better way to shop. And then you're going to learn by doing. It ain't learning by memorizing. Hey, thank you, Sonny. Said, just purchased my ebook. Thanks for sharing. My pleasure. Everybody could get it for 75% off in my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio, or you could go to deshonesbook.com or scan the QR code, no matter where you're at. Let's see. I'm new here, but hold on. I got that. Hold on. Let's go. I still can't see the questions on Instagram. For some reason, I can't see the questions on Instagram. We got to figure that out. Now, here's what I will say. If you stay on long enough, somebody's going to ask you a question, because a lot of you, it's going to surprise you, but I know it. We've been working with people long enough to know a lot of you have the same situation, literally. So you stay on, even if you don't, your question doesn't get answered, you'll hear somebody that's, oh, that's the exact same situation that I'm in. Josie said, I really need help. I'm interested in buying a 2001 H1 with 70,000 miles, 75,000. Should I go for a 40,000 of 50K? I don't really understand that. I really need help. I'm interested in buying a 2001 H1 with 75,000. Should I go for 40 or 50K? So I'm guessing you're saying I'm buying a 2001 Hummer with 75,000 miles, or either is that asking price is 75,000? Should I go for 40 or 50K? No, we go for whoever wins the bid. See, we can't get into, here's where this could hurt us sometimes. You know what we do? We save a certain amount off the price of a car, and then we want to carry it to our next deal and say, well, we should save the same amount on this car. No, because we don't know what the programs were that allowed us to save 7,000 off that car. And I'm talking about new. Pre-owned cars, this is different. Pre-owned cars, you go to the market and you see who has the lowest car for the money. So we're not going local. It's two favorite words, y'all. And some of you, let me see who's been with me for a minute. See if anybody knows. What's my two favorite words when it comes to saving money? And again, this is, I haven't been live and we haven't done this in a, does anyone remember favorite words? Y'all wouldn't know on YouTube, I don't think, unless I used to say this a lot on TikTok. Oh, Alicia said they got kicked out of Instagram. Okay, so come on over to TikTok. All right, it still says we got a lot of people on Instagram, but that's good to know. Okay, we'll check that out. Does anybody remember my two favorite? All right, anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all, and now y'all will know this going forward. And I want these to be your two favorite words: multiple offers. Multiple offers. Very important. When I tell you, when you make multiple offers your two favorite words, you are going to save so much money. It's crazy. So I'm not buying something and there's only one of them out there. I don't have anything to compare it to. That'd be like me walking into the grocery store and I want chips. I really want some barbecue chips. And I go into the aisle and it's only one brand of barbecue chips. Wise Barbecue is the whole store. Now, I don't know if they're charging me a good price because I don't have anything to compare it to. They might say, oh, bag of chips, $4.99. Is that good or not? Well, we don't know. But when I see all the other options, same thing with spaghetti sauce. I need to see all the options. Same thing if some of y'all were buying a TV. If you had to buy a TV right now, if you had to buy a daggone 100-inch TV, are you worried about overpaying for it in this day and age? No, because you know, man, I'm going to go to Amazon, I'm going to go to Best Buy, I'm going to go on this Walmart.com, and by the time I see some options and see what they pricing at, I'm going to be able to choose the best one in 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? That's what comes through. That's price confidence. That's called price confidence. And the only way to have price confidence, to eliminate that feeling of, oh, did I overpay? You think I paid too much for this? Is to learn multiple offers, multiple options. So what you should be doing, Josie, is looking at so many H1s, wherever they are, that I know I'm not going to overpay because I see them all. I see where the price, and I'm gonna teach y'all, this is in the book, and I'll teach y'all in my video. We set up accounts when we're shopping for a new car, because once we know where the prices are, we want to be alerted every new car that pops up, every single used car that pops up, you want to get alert on it. You want that thing coming to your email the minute they post it, because everybody else is not going to be able to move on it because it's too fast. They need time. They need to, oh, let me see it. Okay. But if you know the used car market, like I'm going to teach you, if you know the low prices on this car is 40, the high prices is 55. Soon as that one pops up at 41, you don't have to hesitate. Speed is what gets people deals a lot of times, y'all. I've sat in front of people and I'm literally offering them, and this is back when I was in the dealership, and I'm literally offering them, like, the dealership is making no money. That's how good of a deal it is. And I'm like, listen, miss, like, I'm just telling you, we're making no money. We gave you everything. But they didn't take it. And I'm gonna tell you why. I can't blame them. They didn't have enough other offers to feel confident that what I was giving them was the best. That's the problem. So in order to have price guarantee, price assurance, for us to know that we are paying less than everyone else, we have to see multiple offers. And then in order for us to guarantee that we have not, that's just what it is. Price assurance comes through multiple offers. And then we have to get a quality vehicle. Okay. So all of this I will teach. It's hard to get, maybe like a lot coming at you at once. That's why I would love for you to get the book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, so you could dig into it, so you can see that everything I teach is methodical. I don't want you trying to remember this. Get the book, take your 75% off for the launch of the book, and then dig in and you'll see, wow, he has this thing set up in systems so that I don't have to be trying to remember what to do. I don't want y'all trying to remember what to do when you're out here shopping for your car. I want you to have a roadmap, a blueprint, and that's what 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships is. Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate it. 10-4. Oh, 10-4. Thank you for the guidance. It's a rare vehicle. If it's a rare vehicle, that's fine, but you don't want to overpay for a rare vehicle. You need to see enough of them to know that you're not overpaying. You don't want to sit there. You know how many people got a rare house? Your value's down. You know, I got a rare house. So if the value is going to be down, think about it. If it's rare buying, then it's rare selling too, which means your market, when you go to sell it, if you go to sell it one day, it's not going to be huge. That's not a car you can sell in 24 hours unless you just want to blow it out price-wise. But in order for you to make sure you don't lose, you got to make sure you buy right. You can't overspend by 10, 15 grand. So just make sure any H1 in this country, you know the price of it. That's all. If I see one over, it could be all the way over on the other side of the country. If I see the price, then I know what the market is. It doesn't matter if it's over there. If they're asking 10 grand less and it's a good car, has great service records, has great title history, has great accident history, doesn't matter. That shows me that's the market price. All right. Thank you, Josie. I'm glad. Enjoy it. You're going to be able to get to any car you want. And you have so many strategies in there for later. If you're buying a used car now, it's in there. If you're going to be leasing, it's in there. If you're going to be buying, you're going to know, all right, man, I want to get a lease for my spouse. Or, hey, you know what? I'm going to get a lease for my kid. Or you just might buy everything. But sometimes you might want to buy brand new. Sometimes you want to buy pre-owned. It's all in there. Different strategies for how you get to below market deals on each one. Uncle John said, who currently has the best lease program? It's no way to tell. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell. You cannot shop. That's the bad part. That's why when we shop, y'all, it takes us about 45 minutes to an hour to find out where the market is on a car, what the best offer is. Once you get good, like I said, if you're doing it the slow way, you could call sales managers. You get one lease price, and then you call a sales manager and see if they can match it or beat it, or beat it rather. But if you want to do it the fast way, I go through the websites. I contact the dealers through the websites, tell them exactly what I want. We do this for 25 dealers. And then you use my scripts of telling them what you want by email, getting the quotes, and you'll know in a matter of an hour, hour and a half, where those offers are. But there's no other way. Because again, great deals aren't advertised. They're not going to advertise great deals. They'll advertise lease offers where they make money. Hey, bring us 35 grand. Bring us 3,500 plus taxes and fees, and your payment's $479 a month. Yeah, but you're putting down $6,000 to get there, and then no, those are not good deals. You're paying too much for a car you're giving back. So yeah, and so we'll cycle through various topics. We spent a lot this hour talking about leases, talking about leasing versus purchasing, and hitting a couple things. But what y'all will see is we'll do themes kind of each hour. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back for the next hour, and we'll probably still stay on it, but we'll be able to get through more questions, because as y'all can see, some of these questions require a little bit more deeper answer. Just as if you were purchasing a house. I know they've made it seem like, oh, well, let's just ask a simple question and then let's just, it should be a super simple answer. Not when we're purchasing houses, right? It's never simple when we're purchasing houses, when we're getting mortgages, when we're investing. Why would it be simple when we're buying $20,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 vehicles that depreciate, that lose us money whether we drive them or not? That's danger. You got a real lesson on the dangers of depreciation in this hour. Like, ridiculous. You drive a car, buy it, park it outside, come back in a year, car's worth thousands less. You never drove it, never got behind the wheel one time. So when you have that type of product and you're coming into your household, it can drain you of money if you don't structure your deal in a way where you've minimized your losses. The name of the game is to minimize the amount you're losing on these cars. Cars are depreciating assets. You can't make money on them. We did have a wave for years where we were making money on cars, but that's because the resale values of these cars, it was a once in a lifetime historic moment when all of our cars were worth 12 grand, 8 grand, 15 grand more than what they would normally be worth. So, those who cashed out did very well, and we were part of the group who were really spearheading, helping people cash out while the market was high. But unfortunately, people bought while the market was high too. So this is, we'll be talking more about these things every hour. So lease good for bad credit. Now, what you're gonna have to do is set yourself up. If you can't qualify for a lease and you should be leasing, then now your goal is to now get prepared to lease. That might take you a year or two. And we're going to talk about how we buy an inexpensive car to get set up for a lease. We don't go out and buy a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 car when we know credit's not where we want it. But if you give me a year or two, I'll get myself up to a 650, 670. I'll use an inexpensive car to build a good payment history, because I'm paying more for interest because my credit's not good. So the last thing I want to do is buy an expensive car and have a higher interest rate. Now, when I go to switch out of that car in 2 years, because I'm ready to get my brand new lease, now I got 10 grand of negative equity. That's now, first it was credit stopping me from getting the lease. Now I got too much negative equity stopping me from getting the lease. These are two things we want to avoid when we're trying to set ourselves up. And the way we do it is we make sure we buy the least expensive car we could get a loan on. We want the smallest loan possible. And then we get a reliable car, and our plan is to switch out of that car in 2 years. Make the payments, pay the higher interest, but that's okay, because in 2 years, I'm driving something brand new off the lot and I'm leasing it. So that might not be the ideal car. In fact, it shouldn't be. But some people go and say, well, if I got to do that, man, I'm going to go and get the Dodge Charger with the Hemi engine, and now you're buying a $30,000 car, $25,000, and you're putting that interest on top, and now you're buried. So you're not going to be any closer to getting a lease in 2 years than you are today. We don't want that. You got to bite the bullet And if you got a ton of money, I'll show you how to get it done, and you can get a little bit of a nicer car. If you got bad credit, but you got 10 grand, you don't have to get a $10,000 car, but we need to work these things accordingly, because the key is a small loan, reliable car. That's the key. Okay. TikTok's telling me my live's going to end in 60 seconds. Okay, so we will be back. Y'all are going to see, like, this is going to be what we do, especially during the book launch. My new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, has everything in it I teach. Y'all know from my videos on social media, I don't hold back information. But if you want everything in one place, in a step-by-step written format, this is where you get it. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. And that's going to allow you to take what I teach, mastering the art of shopping from home, mastering making dealers and banks bid against each other for your business, and so that you can be confident. But please make sure you subscribe so that you can get, and if you're on our email list, you'll get notifications of when we go live, so that you can make sure you jump on. If you're in the market for a car, we want to make sure you are armed with everything you need to save tons of money. So thank you, We West Coast, a lot. Appreciate you. Instagram, we're going to get y'all involved, because somehow I'm seeing some of the questions and some not. Now the questions on Instagram popping up. That is so weird. But I trust that y'all got value, because, again, many of you do have the same questions. So we'll be back in the next hour. You'll get a notification if you're on our email list. Jump on. But if you get your book, I hope you enjoy it. I can't wait to hear your success stories. And I'll see you shortly. Oh, and if you need the book, it's in my TikTok bio. Some people are saying, where do I get the book? It's in my TikTok bio. Click the picture. It's in my Instagram bio. Go to the bio. Click the picture. If you're watching on or you could go to deshonesbook.com, or you can scan the QR code depending on where you're watching. So, all right. See y'all soon. Down a little bit more. Why ask about the MSRP? This question is from TikTok. You need to know the MSRP for several reasons. If you're leasing, you need to know what percentage are you paying relative to the MSRP, because the 1% lease rule has always been based off the MSRP. If you got a lease payment and it was 1% of the MSRP, like $40,000 is the MSRP, your lease payment is $400 or less, then you basically stole a vehicle. And that rule has been around since the beginning of time. So when it comes to purchasing a used car, you need to know the MSRP, because how do you know how much you're saving if you don't know the original MSRP? How do you know how much you're saving? For instance, I bought a pre-owned Infiniti truck a little over a year ago. I paid 31 and change. I knew that the original MSRP was 54,545. Without knowing the MSRP, I wouldn't know how much I was saving off the original. And that's the only thing that's really important when you are shopping for a used car and you're trying to make sure you're getting a great price. There's other things you got to be concerned. There's 2 main things when you're buying a used car. Got to make sure you're getting a great car. You need a quality vehicle, That has nothing to do with price. Then the second thing is you got to make sure you're getting a below market deal and make sure you're paying a great price for it, in which case you must know the MSRP. Great question. Great question. All right, we got Dolan. Dolan will be bringing in questions from all platforms. We're live on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So just start typing your questions, and we're going to get to as many as we can in the hour. And, you know, if you have a follow-up question, I'm just going to try to blitz through. So you can certainly throw up the next question whenever you're ready, Dolan. I'm 8K under. My credit is challenged. My car is in danger of getting repossessed. What do I do? All right. This one's also from TikTok. I'm 8K under. What do you mean 8K under? I'm probably underwater. I'm going to assume that means you're underwater, negative equity. If that's the case, then what you want to do is you want to get the, so you're at negative equity, but then you're also behind on payments. I mean, you got to catch up on the payments. I mean, you could try to refinance. You're going to have a hard time. Negative equity, you can't sell it. If you had positive equity, you could sell it. You gotta make money. It's grind time. Like you know, there's certain things in life where we have bills, and the only situation we can do is pray and go and make money. You know, without money and bills, anyone's going to, you know, and this is a hardship, but this is without money or somebody to help you. I can't think of anything. You have a payment due. So, you know, the best thing you could do right now is to focus on how you can make some money so that you can pay the car. Negative equity isn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the car is in danger of being repossessed. If the car gets repossessed, now you got to start over. It's not the end of the world, but you're certainly going to have to start over because you're gonna have a repossession on your credit, and you're gonna have to buy a car with bad credit. I would be trying to rebuild my credit. That's what I would be trying to do. Make money, and if the car gets taken, you got to start rebuilding your credit. Follow Shonda Martin. She's a great resource on all these platforms. And but yeah, man, money answers to all things. Book of Ecclesiastes. So figure out how to make some money, man. Work overtime, double shift, second job, start a business on the side. As long as it does, you got to make some money. Can't make car payments without money. So go ahead, Dolan. Wish you the best, man. Keep me posted. This one's from Instagram. On a 3-year-old used car, what percentage from original MSRP should I be looking at for a price point? It goes by comparison. You should be comparing. Without something to compare it to, you won't be able to see the actual, what the discount should be. You need something to compare it to. We do these live shows. You know, we got a couple hundred people on here already. The goal is to figure out through comparison shopping what you should be doing and what you should be paying. Hold on one second, y'all. Yeah, so that's the goal. You don't know what a fair price is, what a great discount is, until you are not, until you have other offers to compare it to. That's the problem. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next question up. Like, I didn't know that 42% off my Infinity that I got was a great discount until I compared it to the others. I narrowed it down to 4 choices, and then 3 of them were not as big of a discount. And, one of them was, most of them were in the 30s. This particular one was a 42% discount off the original MSRP. Go ahead, Dolan. Oh, this one's TikTok. How do I get the lease rate down? You always, listen, the only way you're going to get a great lease deal is by comparison offers. You got to get at least 5 offers because 80% of dealers are overpriced. And the only way you're going to see that is by looking at other offers. See, most of the questions y'all are going to find out have to do with you shopping for cars the way you shop for other things in life. You shop for everything else. When we get great deals, it's comparisons. Everything we do is a comparison. Now, the only way you have price assurance is through comparison. and knowing if somebody tells you, we guarantee no one will beat our price, or hey, Walmart says you could buy this item and if you find it at a lower price, you know, we'll match it or we'll beat it. See, that's price assurance. That's comparison. That gives you peace of mind of knowing I'm not overpaying. And the only way for you to bring that same piece, the reason why we're able to, and for those of you, if this is your first time on a live with us, type 1. If you've never been on a live stream with me, type a 1 in the chat. See how many first time people we got. How many people first time? What y'all are going to see is what I'm teaching you to do is shop for cars the way you shop for everything else. Because the way you shop for cars now, you don't shop for anything else like that. Okay, Ronnie, I see you, Stoner Kid. Okay. I see you, Amelia. Okay, Batman, good to see you. Edgar. Okay, Paul, we got a lot of first-time people on here. So what you want to do is start shopping for cars the way you shop for everything else. And we get great deals by comparing offers. Now, some of the people I'm going to introduce you to and the way they've gotten their deals is by using what I'm teaching you. Everything that I teach comes out of my new digital book. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. So in that, I have 2 systems for how we comparison shop. One's for new cars and leases. You got to get at least 5 offers. And some of you are like, Deshone, how do I get 5 offers? Well, you stay on. We're going to talk about that. It's easy to do when it's online, but you won't see how different the prices are. When you see, man, everything seems overpriced, it's because you're dealing with what I call the 80%. Dealers that are the 80% are overpriced. They're going to charge you as much as they can because they don't think you're going to find the 20% dealers that are going to beat those offers. So when you talk about how to get a lease rate down, like you look at somebody like Danielle. This is Danielle's lease. She just got a lease on an Audi not too long ago. $44,000 vehicle. She paid $550, no money out of pocket. She just gave him $550, drove off. No down payment. So a lot of the things you're going to see, this is the reason why I represent the Unlearn, Relearn brand. Because a lot of what you've been using, you got to unlearn. It's not going to work here. But I'll help you do that. I hope you do that. So for the launch of my new book, you can get yours for 75% off in my TikTok bio. It's normally $97. It's 75% off while we're on the broadcast. You got 30 minutes. And Instagram bio, you can get yours. And if you're on YouTube and if you're on Facebook, I'll put the link for you guys. Y'all can get yours. But that's how you get lease rates down. Comparison offers. Making people bid for your business. Stop negotiating, guys. And start making people bid. We'll talk more about that. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next question up. We're taking questions from all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And could everybody who shares invite somebody? If you're a sharer, I appreciate it. I always give, we're trying to figure out something special we could do for the sharers because there's nothing, I told y'all, inbox me. If you got ideas, what could we do to reward or come up with something for the sharers? Because you guys are the people who help us spread this message. I appreciate all the new people, but I want to do something special for the sharers. Please DM me ideas of what we can do because we want to make it a regular part of our broadcast. All right, I see you, Sharice. Thank you. All right, go ahead. This one's from TikTok. Can you ask for additional discounts since you're an educator? See, the problem is if there's a rebate, then you'll get it when you reveal it. If there's a first responder rebate, you can't depend on a dealer to tell you about it. Some of the 80% won't tell you about it. Some of the 80% won't give you the whole thing. If it's a $1,000 rebate, maybe they'll tell you it's $500. We don't trust the 80%. When I was in the dealerships, I saw how the 80% moved. The 20% are the people those are the people you have to find. It's not, you can't just walk in. You don't, unfortunately, there's 17,000 new car dealers in this country. They don't have labels on them. There's not one that say, we're the 20% that beats everyone. You have to find them and you need a great a bidding system. You could do it manually by phone, or you can do it my way by email, copy and paste. So, but you're not going to, it's like people who said, well, I have a GM, I get a special price with Ford. I get a special price with General Motors. You can't depend on the dealer you're dealing with to tell you the special price and to tell you the rebates if they have them. The only way you're going to see it is by getting at least 5 offers, and then you'll be able to reveal who gave you the real offer. It's unfortunate, but it's actually better for you, because when who's not a good negotiator? Type not me if you are not a good negotiator. Just speaking honestly, you're not a good negotiator. It's not your thing. I consider myself to be pretty good, and I won't do it. All right, Danny said not me. Okay. Rai, sorry, I butchered your name. Lovey, okay. This is going to work for everyone who's not a good negotiator. Now, I am a good negotiator, but I won't shop that way. I'm always going to get bids, because if you're negotiating with the 80%, they're so overpriced. Even when they drop down a couple $1,000s, you're still overpaying. That's the whole point. That's why it's best for you to sit at home where you're in control. You can use my way, which is email. We copy and paste. I have a strategy in my book. It's called 25 to 5, where you're going to connect with 25 new car dealers. This is only for buying and leasing new cars. This is not for used cars. I have a different strategy for that. But you're going to sit at home. You're going to connect with 25 dealers online in about 20 minutes. And that's going to get you 5 offers using my scripts, using my replies. Now, the manual way to do it is to pick up the phone, call, and speak to at least 5 sales managers. But you need to get 5 offers. That's the only way you're going to see how much money that the 80% were trying to overcharge you. Does that make sense? And it goes with the same thing with military discounts. Doesn't matter. Special pricing, employee pricing. You must shop multiple offers, because you can't trust the 80% to actually give you the real numbers. All right. Go ahead, Dolan. Bring the next one in. We're taking questions from all platforms. Did I post that link? The book is not good for used car. Absolutely. That's just my system. You're going to hear me talk about 2 systems of shopping multiple offers and options. One's for new cars and leases. That's called the 25 to 5. One's for used cars. That's called the multiple marketplace strategy. When we shop for used cars, we have a different strategy. You must shop for your best used car offer in a different way than your new cars. It's very different. They're both in my book. Y'all will hear me talk about them on my videos, on my social media videos if you've seen them, and you'll hear me talking about them on the live. 2 totally different shopping strategies based on your goal. All right, this one's from Instagram. When you walk into a dealership, the salesman comes at you right away. Can you tell him you're just looking for now, and I'll come get you when I see something? Of course you can. So using what I'm telling you, you should not spend more than 30 minutes in a car dealership ever. Tons of people that you'll see, the more you stick around this broadcast and the more you learn and the more you see our community over here. We've been doing this for 3 years, teaching the public. We've got 1,700 people we've worked with personally, a couple thousand books. People are using this stuff. It's not just the saving of money, it's time. You shouldn't be in a dealership if you're not there to test drive, or if you're not, see, we have something we call shopping, not buying. Very different. That's actually step 4 in my book. There's 7 steps. The last step is delivery. Step 4 is something I call shopping, not buying. You have to learn, if you're going to enjoy shopping and take control of your car deals the way I want you to, that when you are shopping, you are deciding what you want. That's shopping, deciding what you want. You can get your copy of the book in my TikTok bio. Everybody got 30 minutes to get it for 75% off. Somebody on TikTok said, how do I get the book? It's in my TikTok bio. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can scan the QR code, or you can go to deshonsbook.com. If you're on Instagram, you can go to my Instagram bio. It's normally $97, but it's part of our official launch. You can get yours for 75% off. So when you are there with a purpose, which means no one can actually talk you into something, because you're clear on what you're here for. I'm here to see what I like. I'm here to decide what I want. I got my kids with me. I'm here to see how this vehicle is it comfortable? This is only for new cars and leases. We don't test drive used cars until the end. That's a different thing. And I'm answering questions specifically. So when someone asks about a used car test drive, we'll talk about that. For those of you who are leasing and buying new cars, we are there to test drive and decide what we want. That is it. We do not talk numbers in the dealership. Listen, I want y'all to remember this. You will never, using what I'm telling you, you will never talk numbers in the dealership. If you are coming there to see a used car, the deal is made already before you get there. Your numbers, everything should be established online. That's the multiple marketplace. There's a very simple process that you can follow for shopping for used cars. By the time you walk in the dealer, who's ever had a dealership that they had to walk out of? If you've ever had a dealership where you had to walk out of, type me if you've ever walked out. Somebody wasted your time. Somebody tried to, whatever. You went there and you're like, man, I'm leaving. This isn't good. I'm glad you did that, but I want you to get to the point where no one can even waste your time. That's what I want you to get to, which means every time you walk in the dealership, for a used car, the deal is made. You're just there to test drive it, verify everything you did online. We'll talk about this. And then you're taking the car or you're locking up that deal, not taking it because, you're locking up the deal. Now, with a new car, you are there to test drive only. I'm deciding what I want. And here's look, you got to be able to ignore this. Let this stuff go. Hey, can I talk to you? Hey, let me just show you these numbers. Hey, we got some real good deals this month. Hey, you know what? Have you seen the specials? Hey, we got a special price. Hey, we're taking off Hey, we're paying over $2,000 for people's trading. Hey, we're buying old leases back. All of this stuff, it got to just be, that junk got to go using what I teach, because that stuff works for other people. It probably has worked on you in the past. Now, you're not going to let people throw you off this agenda anymore. You are literally there to shop, decide what you want, and when you take your card, take the salesperson's card. When you come home, if you like that vehicle, we will be purchasing it and getting multiple offers from home, never in the dealership. Everybody clear? If you're clear on that so far, type clear. Everybody clear on that? Clear? All right, I see you, Dave. Yep, I see you, Danny. All right, go ahead. This one's from Facebook. Carla said, my granddaughter purchased her first car in November 2023. She wanted to lease, but was told she was too young. She's 20. How can she transition from a current car note to a lease car when she turns 21 next year? Great question. Who has a car that they're thinking of replacing? You have a car now. You're thinking about replacing that car. Could be a lease, and you have to replace it. Could be a car you own. Could be a car you're financing. So the first step in my book, it's called 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Car shopping for people that hate car shopping. First step is the most important question. We must know whether we're going to lease or buy. You have to see that as the foundation of your car deals. You cannot get a great deal when you should have leased, but you bought. It is impossible. You can't get a great deal if you should have bought, but you leased. So that's the most important question. That's step 1. How many years are we keeping the car? Now, after that, here's what you do. You guys who have a car you have to replace, including this young lady, Carla, she asked, you must do an equity assessment. This is step 2. Equity assessment is going to tell you, can you get out of your car clean? Can you get out of your car break even? Can you get out of your car and there's equity there, which means you can put that equity in your pocket or into the next transaction? Or do you have negative equity if you have a loan? So the equity assessment is going to tell you. Now, here's how you do it. You're going to call your bank. If you have a paid off car, you do not need to do this step. You can skip this step. If you have a loan or a lease, you're going to call your bank. You're going to ask for the payoff. I see y'all running the likes up on TikTok too. I appreciate it. Can y'all keep tapping the screen? I appreciate y'all running those likes up. When you call, you're going to ask them for the payoff. The payoff is the amount you owe. Do not look at your contract. Do not look at anything. Call the bank or call the leasing company and say, what is my payoff? Now, if you're leasing, you're going to ask an additional question. Do I have a third-party restriction? Once you have those answers, you end the call. You are then going to go on to the websites that I'm about to mention. You're going to get 6 bids, 6 offers. My 2 favorite words when buying anything. And if you like to save money, these will become your 2 favorite words. Multiple offers. Multiple offers. I love those words. That's how you buy everything else. Multiple offers, multiple options. That's how we save the big money. So you're going to go to CarMax.com. This will take you about 20 minutes to do an equity assessment. You're going to go to Driveway.com. You're going to go to AutoNation, Sell My Car. Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book, Instant Cash Offer. And Car Guru, Sell My Car. As more people buy cars, we'll keep adding them to our list. Those people are in my book. That's who we get our equity assessment from, because here's what your car is worth, what people are willing to offer you cash for. What's the one word? Some of you have been, hold on, don't bring in the next question until I give you the road, because some of these I got to go a little deep on, Dolan. But you could queue them up. Just get them ready so that, you know, when I call them out, you got them ready. I know you're stacking them. When you look at, you know, getting 6 offers, what's the one word that we don't use anymore? Let's see if anybody was on here. Maybe you were on here for the last couple broadcasts, or a lot of you are new, so you may not know. What's the one word? Good to see you start back up. What's the word that we're not using anymore? And for the new people, you're about to learn. We don't use, let me see if anybody got it. I give it about 3-4 seconds. Okay, everybody's about to learn this for the first time. We don't use the word trade. You don't get maximum money trading anything. I know you've been taught that because dealers have actually taught you to give them multiple transactions in one. You buy your car from them, that's one transaction. You sell your car to them, that's another transaction. And if you get your loan from them, that's a third transaction. All of these are separate transactions. And how big is the money in them? I'll break it down to you like this. You can actually there are companies that only want to lend you money. They don't sell cars. That's how much money is in loans. There's companies and people who just want to buy your car. They don't want to sell your car. That's how much money is in buying cars. So somebody just said trading is convenient, though. If you want to conveniently lose $2,000 or $3,000 because you want to save 30 minutes, then be my guest. I'm talking to the people who are like, Deshone, that's not my thing. And I'm not talking about a private party sale. We're not talking about listing the car on Facebook. We're talking about going to people. All those companies I just named, they literally have a short inspection process and they cut you a check. I sold my lease to CarMax. They won the bid 2 years ago. I walked out with a check. I was there for 45 minutes. Then I brought my parents down because they won the bid for their Mazda. They they taught you that, oh, anything else besides what we're telling you to do is going to be hard. You know, like, oh, you might as well just give us all the business because, you know, anything else is going to be just hard. Meanwhile, what you're putting yourself through is hard. So that's how you do the equity assessment. Now, if you do have a lease, when you go on those websites, there's a question there. It's going to say, is the car owned, financed, or leased? You want to put owned because you just want the true value. And when you put lease, it triggers something on their websites. Don't worry about that. If you don't have a third-party restriction, you can sell direct to anyone, If you have a third-party restriction, you're going to take those offers, and then we're going to call used car managers because the third-party restriction does not say you can't sell. It says you must sell to a brand of the same dealer, a dealer of the same brand. So if you have a Nissan, you must sell to a Nissan dealer. Here's what that doesn't mean. Go walk into one Nissan dealer. We get bids, we speak to at least 3 to 5 used car managers, we get bids. Are y'all starting to get the sense that everything we do is a bid? And the only way you're going to see how much money you've been losing by not getting multiple offers is to get multiple offers. Everyone I've been working with says, Deshone, there's no way that I would have known how much money was in these car transactions until I started getting multiple offers from home. We don't do this by getting in our car and driving from place to place. We do this by sitting at home and using what online. Shoot the next question in. All right. And we're taking questions from all 4 platforms. So just keep typing them. We'll get through as many as we can in the hour. Erica, this one's from YouTube. I purchased a used vehicle from the dealership, and 2 weeks later they called me and asked me to bring it back because the previous owner wanted it back. Can they do that? Mm, mm, that's a nightmare. Mm. Y'all hear that question? Erica purchased a used vehicle. 2 weeks later, they called, asked to bring the car back because the previous owner wanted it back. So it's less about your transaction, and it's more about if the transaction with the original owner was legally closed. If they left the transaction open, now if I'm you, do you have your paperwork? You have all your loan? And here's the most important thing. Has the loan been funded? Is there a new loan attached to that vehicle under your name? Are they in the process of registering that vehicle under your name? Now, here's where you could be dealing with the crap that the 80% of dealers who are scumbags. This is what they do sometimes. They'll take a car from a customer. They're waiting for the title. They technically don't have the legal right. They have the legal right to sell the car, but there's a loophole there probably because they haven't gotten the title from the owner. And if the owner comes in and says, you know what, I changed my mind, and the owner's holding the title. But what I would do if I'm you, somebody got to call me. I want to look at your paperwork. If you have a loan, Erica, whatever bank you're going through, I would call them, and I would call if the bank knows you and they've established an account number for you, and they're like, yes, Miss Maxwell, we know you, then I'm holding on to the car until somebody comes and pries it from my hands because I have a legal right to this car. There's a loan under my name. You have my money. You have started this process. If none of that's in place, then, and it sounds like, it sounds like you dealt with a scumbag dealership, but that's what I would do. I'm not just giving up the car because you said, oh, the owner wants it back. The old owner wants it. That's not my problem. You made a deal with me. I have paperwork that is binding, and you work that out with the owner. Because that happens sometimes. Dealers do some crappy stuff, or dealers don't cross their T's, dot their I's, and then and then the owner comes in, the original owner who traded the car. That ain't got nothing to do with who you sold that car to. That car is on the road, and there's a loan attached to it, or there's been cash paid for it. Now I'm holding on to this car until you legally show me that I need to release this car, and I might call a lawyer and see, can I get some damages out of this? Like, this is just, God, the 80%, we got to put them out of business. And the only way you get these wolves out of business, y'all, is you got to starve them. I'm telling you, the more people that shop online, when you learn how to shop online the right way, people like this won't be able to exist. But because most people are still going in the old way shopping, giving them a chance to do this, keep me posted, Erica. It sounds like it's a terrible situation, but please keep me posted on that. Go ahead, shoot the next one in, Dolan. This one's from TikTok. What's the best practice for buying a car after bankruptcy? If the bankruptcy's been discharged, start rebuilding your credit. I've seen people who went through a bankruptcy. Once it was discharged, they started building credit immediately, and they were up to a 700 score in a year. So, the key is not to come out of bankruptcy and start buying stuff. The key is come out of bankruptcy and start rebuilding your credit, because if you can do it relatively quickly. Everyone should be following Shonda Martin. Some of you may know her. She's all over all these platforms. She does what I do, but she does it for credit. She'll do lives. The girl is brilliant, and I tell everybody about her. But that's the whole thing. You should be rebuilding your credit. You can do it quick. Get yourself up to a high 600-700 score, and then go and get a car. That's what I do. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one in. It's another one from TikTok. How do you feel about buying a car with a credit card? I don't. Credit cards are 20-something% interest. I don't carry a balance on my credit cards. Shonda doesn't recommend carrying a balance on her credit cards because the interest is exorbitant, and we would never buy a car with a credit card under any circumstances. Instagram. How do I keep my credit score from taking a hit each time I shop for a vehicle? Okay, good question. Let's go into detail on something I call the bank bidding war. Okay, this is something that I'm sure, unless you guys have been on here before, you've probably never heard. So you heard me say everything is a bid, right? So the same way we make dealers bid for who wins our business, who's going to sell us a car, same way we make the companies bid on who's going to buy our car, that's the same way we make banks and credit unions bid. 1 point on an interest rate on a $30,000 loan could be $1,000. So we're looking, so we take interest, we take shopping for car loans as serious as we take getting bids for the new car. There's thousands of dollars in loans. Remember what I said about 15 minutes ago? There's people who just want to give you a loan. That should tell you there's a lot of money in loans. They don't sell cars. So if there's a lot of money in loans, you're going to see this isn't about relationships. You're either going to be a relationship person or a money person. If you want to be a relationship person, type R. That's going to cost you money in what I'm telling you. If you want to be a money person, if you want to save all the money that you should be saving, type M. That's going to come at an expense of relationships, because your bank is not your friend. They're in the business of making money. All right, I see you, Jennifer. I see, all right, a lot of people typing M's. Listen, if you used to go to dinner with your car salesman, invite them to the barbecues, that's going to change when you start getting bids. Unless he just wants to compete. If he's willing to compete, then it won't change. But going back to what Cindy's asking, how do I keep my credit score from taking a hit? So there's a way you do this bank bidding war. There's 3 rounds to it. 3 rounds to it. The first thing we're going to do is check to see, are there any special interest rates for the car we're shopping for? Because if the bank is offering you 0%, 0.99%, this will only come from the company that makes the car. This won't come from a bank or a credit union. When you see 0%, 0.99%, it's like a finance rebate. It's like they're incentivizing you to finance, giving you very cheap or free money to use. No bank can compete with that. So the first thing you're doing, whether you're shopping for a new car, used car, is checking there. That's round 1 of the bank bidding war. Because if you do see that, there's no other reason to let anyone run your credit. That's what I'm getting. I'm going to get the 0%. I'm going to get the 1.99. Now, if that doesn't exist, now what we're doing is we're shopping for our car, and we're going to lock up our car, get our offers. No one needs your credit. When you're getting offers the right way, no one needs your credit to give you an offer. That's a lie. Deshone, they told me they did. They lied to you. What I tell you about the 80%? The 80% lie. Straight face. Look you in the eye. So we're going to get our offers. Once we find the best offer in the market, we reserve the car. We take that buyer's order. We come home. And now we're going to let tons of people run our credit. Isn't that going to make it go down? Here's how the bank bidding war works, and you can Google this. The credit bureaus allow you to have multiple people run your credit within a finite period of time. Experian has an article on this. They say between 14 and 45 days. If you're letting all these people run your credit within this period of time, what it looks like to the credit bureaus is you're rate shopping. You're rate shopping. They're not going to penalize you for rate shopping. They will penalize you from going to dealer, letting this dealer run your credit, letting this, oh, I'm trying to buy this Chevrolet. Oh, run my credit. And then here I'm at a Nissan dealer. Okay, I'll take the Nissan Altima, letting them run your credit. You'll be penalized for that. That is not what I'm telling you to do. I'm telling you, don't do that. So when you get your car, you're bringing that home, and you're going to call your bank. You're going to now call your credit union or go on their online portals, and you're going to go to every online lender. I have some listed in my book, Lightstream, Community Credit Union, and you're going to let all these people make offers for you. Because who's seen a case? This is another reason this works so well. Who's tried to reach out to their bank or their credit union to get a rate, and they say you have to have a car first? Who's had that happen? You're trying to get a rate, and they say, well, we can't give you a rate. We need you to give us the details of the car first. So now you're trying to make up what you think you're looking for. Yeah, I'm looking for. No, it's because it's not designed to work that way. It's designed to work where you get your paperwork, get your buyer's order, has all the numbers on there, has the year, the make, the model, what you're paying, how much you need to borrow, and then you're calling your banks and credit unions. This is round 2 of the bank bidding war. So you're going to let all those people go and compete. Now, whoever wins that round, you're going to call the dealer the next day, and you're going to say, hey, I got 6.29 from my credit union. But if you guys can beat it, then I'll do the deal with you. This makes the whole price. See, everything I'm telling you to do, if you follow what I'm telling you, the process is easy. You never got to lie. All of those people who taught you how to buy cars and you got to lie, don't tell them you got to trade, don't tell them this, you'll never hear me teach you. You don't have to lie. And the dealers will enjoy working with you to 20% because you're now giving them an opportunity. And it's very different, y'all. When you got a car, when you have a finance manager who's trying to beat the rate you got, here's the difference. And we'll get ready to queue up the next question, Dolan, not yet. Here's the difference. When you don't have a finance manager trying to bid and beat what you have, they're going to their banks and they're asking the salesperson, what's the most you think they'll pay? What's the highest rate you think they'll pay? All right, quote them at this, and then let's see if we can negotiate on the rate. That's what it is when you don't have an offer. But when you give them that, when you found your car, locked it up, and then you call the salesman or you call the finance manager and say, hey, I got 6.29. If you can beat it. Now, here's what they're doing. They're reaching out to all their 10, 15 banks and saying, let me see if I can beat this rate. Very different. And only one or two things are going to happen. They're either going to call you and say, hey, look, I tried my hardest. I can't beat the rate. Thanks for the opportunity, but you got a great rate. In which case you have something that we want, which is who knows what we want. When it starts with a P, this is when we guarantee we paid the best price for everything. Who remembers? Well, I can't say who remembers because we get new people on this broadcast every day. I swear. All right. Price assurance. So when y'all hear me say price assurance, what that means is you don't drive off anymore hoping you got a good price. Talking to your spouse, hey, you think we could have did better? You think this interest rate was too high? Could we have got a better interest rate? No. Price assurance means you guarantee you couldn't have paid a lower price for the car. Nobody could have paid because you got bids. Nobody could have gave me a lower interest rate because I got bids. Nobody could have gave me more for my old car because I got bids. That's the only way we get price assurance. And all of this is done while you sit at home. So this is in my book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. If you want everything I teach in one spot, it's there. You can get your copy for 75% off. It's normally $97. And you can go to my TikTok bio. It'll be in your inbox in literally 5 minutes. The reason it's a digital book too is because things change. Vroom just went out of business a couple months ago. They used to be one of the people who competed for our business. If you guys had, your book and you had bought it and then it was a print book, because some people say, Deshone, is it in print? This is the reason, one of the reasons why it's not. If Vroom is in that print book, what happens? Now I got to jump on live and say, hey guys, volume 2 of my book is out because things have changed. Get your volume 2. I don't want to do that. You get this one time, and then I update it when Vroom went out of business. I updated the master file. Everybody who opened their book, no matter what, it was relevant. And that's one of the biggest reasons why it's a digital book. So you can grab your copy for 75% off, but you got 30 minutes. Once the timer is 0, it goes back up to 97. In my Instagram bio, in my TikTok bio, or you guys can, I'll put the link right here for you guys on YouTube and Facebook. You can go to deshonsbook.com. Oh, wait, I put the wrong one. I put it in my bio here. All right, Dolan, you can queue up the next question. Keep typing your questions, y'all. We got some more time. We're going to try to get through as many as possible. And we're pulling them from all platforms. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube. So we're pulling questions from all platforms. This one's from TikTok. Can you use the equity in your lease towards the purchase of a used vehicle? Most certainly, Eddie, the equity is yours. Once you identify your equity and you know how you're going to get it, who you're selling to, you can either put that money in your bank account or you can use that as a portion of you can use that towards your next car deal. That's your money. Your money. Go ahead, next one. This is another one from TikTok. I need a bit of advice. My son totaled his car. It was a loan Honda. Should I lease or buy this time around? I'm looking into maybe lease an electric vehicle, but I never have leased a vehicle. Okay, it's a very good question. Should I lease or buy? Let me show you. Some of you, let me show you this. Let me ask a very important question. In my book, this is called Step 1. Whenever you hear me say the most important question, this is what I mean. It's the first thing you do. When you want to buy a car, when you like, hey, I'm thinking about a car, this is the first question you ask yourself, and it's the most important question. How many years are you keeping the next car? Come on in, and everybody type your comments. Keep that question up, Dolan. Everyone who's car shopping and who will be soon, how many years are you keeping the next car? Lula, if you just jumped on, I don't come to dealerships because we shop online. So there's no way for me to come to a dealership with you. If you stick around, you'll learn how we shop. There's no reason for you to need somebody with you when you're in your house making car deals. Everybody answer. Everyone who shop, I want you to actually think about this. How many years are you keeping the next car? We're answering that question, Rob. Just tap into the broadcast and what I'm answering before you, because we're literally answering the question someone just asked, should you lease or buy? And the more you stay on the broadcast, because many of you are in the same situation, the more you're going to see someone's going to ask the same question as you. So just listen, and then, most times your question's going to be answered. All right. If it's electric, 3 years. Buying all cash. How many years are you keeping the next car? I got to just pay attention to the people that are listening. I'm sorry. All right. Hyla, I see 3 to 4. Vivian, I see 3 years. All right. 6 years. Okay. 3. Okay. 8 years. Okay. So the first question you're asking yourself, should I lease or buy? You're going to replace that question with how many years am I keeping the car? Now, if the answer is 8 or more, then you should buy. I'm going to tell you why. This has nothing to do with how you're paying for the car. A lot of you may get attached to, if I'm paying cash, does that change anything? If I'm getting it doesn't, because the expense that you need to avoid that's losing you the most money is what I call the unseen expense. It's depreciation. So let me break this down for you very quickly. If you have a $35,000 car, you buy it today, what is that car worth a year from now? Even if you don't drive it, you got a $35,000 car outside in your driveway right now, brand new car. What is it worth a year from now? You didn't drive it 1 mile. Is it worth 35? Is it worth 35? No. Let's go deeper on depreciation, because now we're starting to see with that first question. I'm going to ask you some more. You have to see this is the unseen expense. You buy a car today for 35, you take it back to the dealer in 3 days. Is it worth 35? No. So what does that tell you? There's some expense there, whether you buy or lease. Many of you have been taught, I could just buy a car because I could drive as much as I want. Let's throw another one in there. You buy a car today for 35, you put 30,000 miles on it. Isn't it worth much less a year from now? So this is the unseen expense, and this is how it's working against you. You got to look at depreciation like this. See this curve? This is where you are the day you buy the car. This is what you pay for it. This is how it's dropping over 5-6 years. So now the beautiful thing is long-term owners who has a car outside that they've had for more than 8 years. Type me. Some of you might have been 10 years. Some of you might have been 20 years. this is what you have to see. If you're getting rid of your cars anywhere in this 6-7 year mark, you're losing money. It's no way. It's no way you can replace something you bought and it's dropping like this. But here's the beautiful thing. For those of you who are like, look, I had my car for 12 years. I had my car for 8 years. I had my car for 10 years, 16 years. This is where you're at. That's how your car is losing value. See, the car you have that you've had outside for 10 years, what it's worth today, a year from now, isn't it going to be worth about the same thing? Right? Talking to you long-term owners who keep your cars, you're winning. See, because you've reached the reward. You've reached the reward for buying. The reward for buying is to get to the stage where your car a year from now is going to be worth about the same of what it's worth now. Now, that's when you should be buying. If your goal isn't to get to that level, you should not be buying. You should be shopping for lease deals. Because there's only 2 ways to beat depreciation. What I just said, and some of you might be saying, Deshone, I can't, I'm not keeping a car that long. You should not be buying cars. You're not getting to that level. You're not getting to the winning. The winning is that. Got a car outside, paid off, barely losing value. It was worth $9,500 last year. It's worth $9,000 this year. That's the reward. Now, for those of you on the other side, if you're on the other side, you should be leasing. And I'm going to show you how drastic it is of a difference when you should be leasing, but you're buying. I'm going to show you that there's no way for you to get a great deal if you are buying when you should be leasing. Look at somebody like, let's pull up, we talked about Danielle earlier. Look at Tope. Tope got a BMW, $54,000 vehicle. Now, some of you know, every $5,000 on the price of a car is how much per month? Every $5,000 on the price of a car is how much per month? It's not 7 years, so it's always 8 years. See, in my book, it's something called the 8-year rule. If you're not keeping your car 8 years, you should not be buying. Okay, good. I see a lot of you are tapped in. Every $5,000 is $100 a month. So when you're looking at a $50,000 car, you should be thinking that's $1,000 a month payment. What about the down payment? Forget about the down payments. Down payments have nothing to do with the deal. We are just talking about boundaries. When we look at a $50,000 car, $1,000 a month, 5-year loan. $20,000 car, $400 a month, 5-year loan. Every $5,000 is about $100 a month. Now let's look at Tope's deal. Tope got a $54,000 BMW. She's paying $756 a month. I'm going to prove to you right now that if you should be leasing because you're a short-term person, you are not keeping your next car 8 years. You're not keeping your previous cars 8 years, yet you bought them. I'm going to show you how much money you've lost listening to people that told you shouldn't be leasing. And we're going to correct that. So Tope got a deal, shopping multiple offers the way I teach. She got multiple offers. She got $690 a month. That's a 1.26% lease. $690 on a $54,000 vehicle. So let's say we're going to break down real quick 3 different ways to get this vehicle right here that she got. One is the way she got it, leasing, because she's a short-term person. Now let's say somebody says, Deshone, I'm going to buy that car. That person buys that car. Let's say they get an incredible price and they save $10,000 off a brand new BMW. Okay? I want to show you that even with extreme cases of big money, I could teach you how to get the best price on the car, but it's not going to change. If your deal is on the wrong foundation, you can't get a great deal. So let's say somebody walks in right after Tope. They look at her car, they see her driving off, and they're like, man, I want that same car. All right. And they end up saving 10 grand. So they buy it for $45,000. Taxes, fees, probably put them up around 48. Every $5,000 we said is $100 a month. $48,000, that's a $950 payment, y'all. 5-year loan. No money down, because Tope put no money down. So we're comparing putting no money into these deals. When you start putting no money into the deals and looking at them, you're going to clearly understand them. Sometimes people use down payment money to confuse you. $690 a month she's paying, they're driving off paying $950. No way. Now a third person comes in. Man, I see those two people just drove off. You got that car used though? Can I get a used one? I don't want to buy a new one. I don't want to get a new one. I know that's going to be expensive. What do you think a brand new vehicle that was $54,000 brand new? What's a good price of that vehicle used, y'all? What's a good price used? I want to hear. Somebody throw something out. 40? Okay. 40? I'm going to take the lowest number. This is how it's going to, I mean, it's not going to be 30. Okay. A $54,000 vehicle. You're not, let's take 21. Okay. No, all right. I can't, we gotta use like real answers. So you're not getting a $54,000 vehicle. Oh, maybe I should preface 3 years old, right? Let's say 35. Let's say 35, right? That's pretty conservative. 54,000 new. They find one for a great price. It's a used car. They get it for 35. Every $5,000, $100 a month. What's the car payment? 700. 700. So you have Tope, who's driving off in a brand new BMW, $690 a month. You got the person who bought thinking it saved $10,000, got an incredible discount, $950. And then you got the person who got a 3-year-old BMW. Warranty will be up next year. They're going to be on their own. They're paying $700. That's what I mean. I told you I was going to make it very clear for you that when you should be leasing, you cannot get a great deal. I don't care how much money you save off the car. I don't care if you buy a used one. When you should be shopping for great lease deals, you're not a long-term person. Now, here's where both of those people can beat Tope. Both of those people can keep their cars 8 years, long-term, pay the cars off. Now, we see them down the line, and now they're winning. And it's not that Tope is losing. It's just that they've all won now. Everything when you purchase cars, when you get to this stage, if a person bought that car and they're at this stage now, I had this BMW for 8, 9, 10 years, and it's not losing any value anymore. Oh, you won. That's the reward for buying. But if you're not going to get there, you're losing by not leasing. That's the leasing versus buying. I call that the most important question. It's the first question. When you open my book, it's step 1. How many years are you keeping the next car? That is the first thing you ask yourself because it's the foundation of your car deals. So everything that I'm teaching you is out of my new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. Step 1 is the most important question. Step 7 is delivery. So by the time you get to step 7, you're either having your car delivered or you're picking it up. This is not a book you read and then you go take a test on it. This is an action guide that gets you closer and closer to your vehicle. And when you get to step 7, you're taking delivery. So you can get it for 75% off. Get your copy. Get your 75% off in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio. It'll be in your inbox in literally 5 minutes. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can scan the QR code or you can go to Deshone'sBook.com. All right. I love talking about this. Go ahead, Dolan. We probably got time for 2 more. Bring in 2 more, Dolan. Bring in the next one. And then we'll wrap. Yep. I drive too much to lease. See, hold on. Before you say that, you got to be very careful making statements. And I'm going to be honest with you, y'all. I will put what I teach and I put my people who learn from me against anybody shopping for cars. Because once you get this and once you get how to shop, you'll be able to do this in 60 minutes. You'll be able to get great car deals in 60 minutes. But in order for you to win, the best thing for you to do is ask questions here, not make statements. All right. This one's from TikTok. Can you use the equity in your lease toward the purchase? Oh, yeah, we got that one already, Dolan. We did that one. Shoot the next one up. This one's from Instagram. How do you compare car prices if the model has different options and packages? Are you talking about new cars or are you talking about used cars? Let's just break down them both. How do you compare car prices if the model has different options and packages? The way we compare lease offers, we look at them from percentages. See, prices can change, but percentages don't. If I got a $40,000 vehicle and I'm paying under 400, that's a 1% lease. We call that a steal. If somebody offers me a $42,000 car, if it's 1%, then that's $420. That's why we go by percentages. Same thing with used cars. When we're looking at a used car, I need to know what the original MSRP was. I'm going to get this from the Carfax. I'm going to get this from, there's a site called With Clutch. Carfax has an agreement with a couple manufacturers where they have the window sticker there. So I'm going to get I'm not going to buy a used car, and I would never recommend you buy a used car without knowing the original MSRP, because we want to look at the discount percentage. So example, my Infinity truck I bought, it was $54,000 brand new. The other three that I was looking at, one was 52, one was 48, one was 46. So when I compared the discount off of the new price, this one had the greatest discount off the new price. Therefore, it was the best offer. And that doesn't matter that it had more options than everything. It also had a greater discount percentage wise. That's how we compare, no matter what prices are being thrown at us. When you learn to look at things percentage, and I have calculators in my book. I have ways that we make offers. I have calculators that I've invented, online calculators where we plug in all our offers and then it spits out the counter offers that we should be making. All of that is in there. Like there's more stuff in the book than I could ever describe on this one live stream. All right, go ahead. Cue up the last one. Pick a good one. TikTok. Listen to him. He got me a check for $4K for my lease car. I said pick a good one. You picked a good one. Listen, a lot of people, and I'm glad, congratulations on that. A lot of people didn't even know you could sell leases. If you didn't know you could sell a lease, type a question mark. Be honest. If we're honest here, this is how you're going to win. Because at some point, this person right here who just said I got $4K selling my lease, at some point, they didn't know you could sell a lease. But once they discovered it, they're like, okay, I'm going to tap in. I'm going to follow what he says. And that part of their transaction's 4,000 richer. Forget what they bought. Forget how much they got off the car. Just that part is 4K. So all of you who said I didn't know you could sell a lease, think of how much money you have left on the table returning leases to dealerships without doing an equity assessment. So we must do it. So I'm very big on getting this information out. Y'all can get it any way you want. You can go through all my social media videos. As you can see, those videos are made for different types of people. Some of you are high mileage drivers. Some of you are, going to be leasing. Some of you have negative equity. Some of you are going to be purchasing new. Some of you are going to be purchasing used. Some of you are going to be paying cash. So you can go through the social media videos and piece the ones together that's for you. You can also hop on these live streams, piece the information together for you, or you can go and grab your copy of my new book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships, and you can just have the whole playbook. And the playbook is in there for everything. So if you're leasing now, it's in there. If you're going to be getting your spouse a car, it's in there. I can't tell you how much the book is going to make you. You'll tell me. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years, you'll tell me, this book, Deshone, this book has saved me $20,000. Because the more cars you get, the more your money you're going to save, even if you're going to get one. But I just want you to have the information, get it how you want it. You can get 75% off your copy as part of our book launch in my TikTok bio. Click that link, and then same thing in Instagram. Click that link and then click the button that says get 75% off my new book. But it's only for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, price goes back up to $97. $24 is better than $97. So, and I'll put the link one more time for you guys on YouTube and Facebook. You can click this link here that says Deshone's book. I just posted it. Or you can scan the QR code. If you might be watching us on a television, you can just scan the QR code with your phone, grab your 75%. So this is what we do. Whenever you see me live, I'd encourage you to invite a friend, tell somebody. If you see a coworker and they're like, man, I got to buy a car soon, invite them to one of our streams, because we get very, very detailed about showing you all the money in your car deals and making sure you know what you're doing. Please, if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, we got a lot of things coming to YouTube. We're going to be time stamping these questions in future episodes so that you can easily navigate through previous episodes and find your answers. So everything is Deshone the Auto Advisor. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube because we got a lot of stuff coming there. But other than that, have a great day. I'll see y'all in the next broadcast. Everyone who got the book, use it, win with it, and make sure you DM me or email me your success stories. I want to see your deals. Email me your deals, not just your cars. You're going to love it. Once you start making deals and you're confident with the money, you're going to be so excited about sharing the numbers, you might forget to tell me what car you got. You know, Deshone, look at this price I just got. Oh, by the way, it was on this car. You know, so that's what we want. All right. God bless y'all. I'll see you soon.